Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood.
And we're live.
And we are back.
Welcome to the Underdog Journey. I'm Wes. This is David. And David, loving your backdrop there. Your background looks really good.
Yeah. I my wife loves me. I bought a new humidor.
Of course,
4
because you
foot
need
by
another
6
humidor.
foot. Well, it's a 4 foot by 6 foot stand up humidor over in the corner now.
Nice.
And it's got the machine in the bottom of it.
No
so of course
way.
I had to clean out the whole entire room. We had carpet to clean here yesterday.
That's awesome.
So we got it all back in here, and I put some light back here,
Yeah.
and I hung up our Underdog Journey poster that we had during the fishing tournament that we did with the Real Life Outdoors with Shannon Black. I've been toting this thing around for quite some time, making sure it didn't get ruined. And finally, the wife and daughter ran out, got me a frame for it, and we got it up on the wall now.
That is awesome. I didn't even know you still had that. That is super cool.
Yep, I'm good at just keeping random things around. If you need an HDMI cable, I bet I have 30 HDMI cables right now.
Right.
It's ridiculous. It's an addiction. It's an addiction.
Matt Harmon
So how's
says,
it going over there?
Matt Harmon says, anybody who has a stand-up humidor is an insult here. I don't know.
Insult?
No, that's a
Son.
compliment. Matt, if a man has a stand-up 6 foot tall humidor, he's a legend among men. He deserves a standing ovation for that. That's actually pretty cool.
I don't think I'd go that far.
Did you get that new?
Bro, I am all about Facebook Marketplace. If anything I can buy used, I do.
Dude, send me a picture of that. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, I would flip the camera around, but you can't see. It's too dark everywhere. I got to get better lighting in this room. But it's got the thing in the bottom, like the doors you open up, and it's got this machine heater and humidifier thing in there.
Yeah.
It's got vents that go up all the way through it. And I mean, it's pretty freaking cool.
Dude, that's awesome.
It was missing a pane of glass on the side. I ran down to Lowe's today and got it and replaced it. And so it's all sealed back up in there. And yeah, I mean, looks good.
No, that's cool.
Looks good.
That is awesome.
Good.
I'm
so
jealous.
What do you got over there? What are you drinking tonight, West? What are you drinking tonight, West?
Well, digging back into the fridge, random beer hall of fame, whatever you want to call it, I found a Brewdog Cocotopia, which is a coconut stout. Starting out with that. I got a few randos tonight, but starting out with a coconut stout. The good stuff.
Yeah. Last time I had a coconut stout was the Kit Kat coconut milk stout over at Chubby's.
That was good.
And I got myself in trouble on that one.
Yeah.
But
look, I don't know. That's not exactly a family-friendly story, but yeah, that was.
It's not.
Be careful,
but it was a good time.
What you say to waitresses.
I mean, it was even. I think Matt was even there and was like, "Oh my god, did he actually say that?" But yeah. So
no,
I
myself,
am
the younger Giesman and yourself.
Younger Bob, yeah. Okay, I thought there were 4, but maybe 3.
Yeah.
I'm starting off. I have a bottle of Eagle Rare over here. A bottle of Eagle Rare, little baby bottle of Eagle Rare.
It's cute. That's a good bottle though, man. That's tasty stuff.
It is there. They've got there. I went to a liquor store earlier, and they had them. They had like a 3 or 4 bottles, maybe 5 bottles on the shelf, but they had them marked at $120 a piece. And I'm like,
What? They're good,
no,
but I don't know if they're that good.
no, no, and they're not that hard. No,
Right.
no. Why?
For that small bottle or
Like
for the full size
that's
bottle?
more for the full size bottle, but I mean the full size bottle is like $45-$50
Right,
bottle,
that's a 50,
and that's with a
I was
that's
going to
with
say
a
60
that's with a
tops.
yeah, well, I mean, $45 to $50 is that's you're still getting a decent markup on that.
Right.
So yeah, but I'm starting with the Baker's 107,
Nice.
which I believe Keith, who's actually been on the show here, Keith.
Yeah, Keith Edwards.
He is the one who turned me on to the Baker's 7, and I'm going to pretend like I taste it and it's delicious.
Is your sense of taste not back yet?
Hopefully. Yeah, my sense of taste, and I'm talking to the surgeon guy, and he goes, "We're hopeful that will return." And I'm like,
Wait, hopeful?
what do you mean hopeful?
Right.
Do you see how fat I am? I like to eat. I like to eat good tasting food. Not being able to taste things is messing with me.
Yeah, hopeful
is
nothing.
not the word I'm looking for.
Right. It will return.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to smell it. Nope, nothing.
What? Oh,
Absolutely
man.
nothing.
That
Absolutely
is,
nothing.
That's a shame. That is like, that's not like one of those things people say, oh, that's a shame. No, that's a literal shame. That's terrible, David.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's brutal. It's brutal. So, being the fire safety guy that I am, what's the worst thing to smell? Smoke.
Smoke. Yeah, now you can't smell smoke.
Not like cigar smoke. No,
like
no.
Electrical.
All I smell 24/7 is that morning after you've had a fire pit.
Yeah.
And let's say you're at a campfire, you're out in a camp and you slept in a tent, and it's just in your clothes, it's just in your nose and everything. That after that just
that sort of acrid,
musty, smoky smell. Right. I smell that 24/7.
That's all you smell all the time.
That's all I can smell 24/7.
Oh, that stinks, man.
So that's fun. Let's see if the taste pours through.
Dude, getting old sucks. That's all I can say. It's
what I'm showing back in my day when you could smell like 17 different types of things.
Nothing.
I can tell that it's good, but I can't taste that it's good.
Oh, man.
I can tell that it's smooth, but I can't tell that it's oaky.
I don't even know what to say. That's
if you guys are in on that joke, that's a good one right there.
I mean, at this point, if this is going to be permanent, you might as well just start buying cheap booze, because what's the difference?
Well, that's why I'm drinking Baker's 107.
It's not super expensive, but it's tasty. That's good stuff, man.
It is. I like it. It's single barrel too. So
there you go.
I'm a fan of single barrels.
Nice.
Yeah. So what we got? We got any news tonight? We got any news?
You know what?
It's been a rough week for news. I'll tell you that.
Insanely difficult to find news that's not political right now.
Yeah.
Insanely, and it's only getting worse between now and January 6th, January 7th. It is going to be next to impossible to find news that is not political. So I found one thing. We're going to put this up on the screen here. One sec.
Yeah, something about Mars entering Uranus or something. I don't know.
I'm sure I could find some Uranus news, but no, this is good. Tesla is hiring workers at $48 an hour to wear motion capture suits and train their humanoid robots. You don't need any background in the industry. You don't need you don't even need a high school degree. They will hire you and pay you $48 an hour to wear mocap suits. I don't know what you got to do. Probably some pretty messed up stuff, but they're doing it.
Why? Never mind. I ain't getting into that.
Yeah, exactly.
I ain't getting into that. Yeah.
So I'm not paying
$48 an hour. So
subscription price for the Fortune website.
What's funny is you can look at the author, and this is a thing for everybody out there. You can look at the author's name, and then you can go to that person's website,
right,
and read the whole entire article. Never, ever pay for subscriptions to like your newspaper or any of these things. All that stuff is available.
Exactly. So, we should do a show on that, on the ways to like sort of hack your way into seeing stuff for free online. Because there are a dozen different ways to read this article, and I
used to be called LimeWire.
In fact, do that. No, there's actually another website that you can go to where you can type in the URL or enter the URL, and it will just backdoor you into reading the whole article without subscribing to the page. We talked about it a few months ago, but it's been a while.
What you do on your own time is your own business.
Look,
bud.
you mentioned Uranus. I mentioned your back door. But either way, Tesla is going to pay you $48 an hour to wear weird suits
$48.
and play with robots. That sounds pretty cool to me. But
well, when you put it like that, actually, that's a much better headline. Tesla will pay you $48 an hour to wear a suit and play with robots. That's okay. Now I'm interested.
Right. See, that's how you write a job posting. That's how you write a job posting. But you do actually have to be located in the vicinity of their Tesla factory where they're working on these. But there's a lot of companies.
So where it is currently? Where is it? Are they in like San Diego or?
I think this.
Something like that?
I think this is one of their gigafactories in Texas, maybe.
Texas. Okay.
I think so. I didn't. It was in the article. I didn't read the whole, that part. I kind of skimmed when we got.
I know it's all getting moved out to Texas.
Right. They're moving all of their stuff out of California. So that's if we could talk about politics, that's big news. If we want
to, just from a business standpoint, it's still news. I mean, it's got political overtones and undertones and just tones, but the business aspect of it is still very valid. I mean, you can do business at a much cheaper rate. I mean, and save tons and tons of money. You do that.
Yeah, I mean, look,
that's just how it is.
It's not political. That's just business.
It's not personal. It's just business.
Right. There is truth in that phrase. And we should get that. We should get that on a t-shirt. That should be our next t-shirt. It's not personal. It's just business.
Just business. Yeah.
But so funny thing, again, edging on politics here. It kind of is political, but we're edging. We're not getting into the political issues. Elon Musk and Donald Trump had that call on X a while ago.
I still haven't watched that. I need to watch it. But
so
I try because it's so political. I literally try to stay away from all of it.
So I did listen to it live. I listen to a lot of these things live. I'm a political nerd, so I'm not trying to hide that. But I did listen to it live. So they're getting kind of buddy right now, and it was mentioned on the call that Trump might want to put Elon Musk on a sort of a committee or something along those lines, agency position in his administration. And so the funny thing is, a while ago, Elon Musk was pushing out Dogecoin, right? He was the one who really sort of inflated that Doge bubble for a while. So
yeah, I made that bubble.
The agency that he's suggesting that Trump start is going to be called Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Can you imagine? So Elon Musk wants Trump to put him in charge of the Doge agency. I heard that. I mean, that's pretty hilarious. So look, whether you like either one of those guys or not, political or not, that's pretty funny.
It's funny, yeah.
So
it's funny. If you know all the puzzle pieces that go there,
right?
There's some actually pretty good humor in all that.
Exactly. It's good to have FU money. It's good to have
so Matt
GFY
Harmon
money.
Says, yeah, Matt Harmon says, don't go making up words like gigafactory.
It's true. It's all made up. Those things aren't even real.
So what's crazy is that is literally a daily term.
It didn't used to be, but it is now.
It is now. I when I say daily term, if I'm on a meeting, it could be brought up 30 times in any given meeting. And before this year, I might have heard the term like half a dozen times a month at best, or a quarter, maybe 50 times in the entirety in my life. But now it's like, 30 times an hour is not that big of a deal.
Right.
Like, damn.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. So
Where did I go wrong?
Part of your world is dealing with giant battery facilities, giant battery installations.
Yeah, that's what a gigafactory is.
So apparently, one of the largest new solar farms ever built crashed immediately as soon as they turned it online, and this happened like a week ago. Have you heard about this?
Okay. Well, I'm behind on my wiki readings, and that's what I call everything. But I get reports sent to me, and there are websites that get sent over to me about this crash, that crash, this fire, that thing, thing, and all that. But yeah, so I've seen something about
It was like in
but
New
I haven't got
Mexico,
to
I
read
think,
into
and it was apparently the biggest one of the biggest solar farms ever built. The second they turned it online, the entire thing crashed, and it's a brick. Like somebody's
Yeah.
got some
So
explaining to
that's
do.
the BMS. That's the BMS. That's the battery management system, or actually, it could just be the controller for the solar panels themselves. So it depends on what side, whether was it from the solar side or was it from the ESS side. So it's going to matter which side that is where your
Yeah, and
problem is.
I only
And
briefly saw it
literally,
on the run.
you got
So
to troubleshoot that. Yeah, you got to troubleshoot that like you would anything. You start at the beginning and do you have voltage here? Yep, I got voltage here. Then let's go a little further down the line. Do you have voltage here? No. Well, it's break between here and there, and it's just it's your normal stuff you got to deal with. So
right,
yeah,
it never ends, never ends. But somebody's got some
it
explaining
doesn't.
to do.
Which
Somebody might have some issue with that. But that's all the news I could find that's not political, and even that got pretty political.
yeah, even that was right up against the line. We're gonna tiptoe right over top of there.
Right there.
So I mean, it's not really hard to guess which side we land on. But I hear the people all the time that they're going, well, you can only get solar power when the sun's shining. You can only get wind power when the wind's blowing. I'm like, have you never heard of a battery?
Yeah, I was
dude?
say, that's why God invented batteries.
That's why we got batteries, man. Do I look at it and say this is the end all be all? No. But do you know what the Sony is coined out of the phrase or the business, the Standard Oil of New York? And the Standard Oil came around because before Standard Oil of New York was there, basically Standard Oil. Before that, the oil you would use in your what we call now hurricane lamps and other lamps in your house
And I have
could
a few
be
of those, by the way. I have
wildly
some of those.
volatile.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could be wildly volatile. So some of the stuff could be highly explosive, and some of the stuff is so mixed down with water that it would barely ignite. So there was no standard for it. So just as we haven't always had an internal combustion engine, we had steam engines, we had horse-drawn carriages, we had pharaohs riding on the shoulders of peasants. So it's moved on. Is this where we're going to stop? Hopefully not. That'd be a pretty stupid thing to expect.
Well, they're inventing new battery technology all the time. So,
yeah, it's the next step. Let's take the next step.
We had
Stop being afraid of the next step.
We had that article earlier in the year that was about the dirt-powered battery. I mean, that was...
Oh, yeah, your hot load of sand. A hot load of sand, yeah.
Batteries
your fresh, hot sand
are advancing all the time. I mean, I saw all kinds of hot loads within that article. That was... it was a good one. Hot sand. And we're not even joking. That was an actual
that hot load
article.
Of sand. Yes, that was actually a thing. That was actually a thing. The hot load of sand is not a word. And the dirt battery also not a word of a joke.
No, we were somebody actually thought that was a good idea.
Man, we have gotten into some weird shit.
That should be the name of the show. Weird shit we find
Yeah.
online. That would be a good show. People would watch that show.
That actually is a really good show. I think people really like that show. Just weird shit we find online.
Right, exactly. Oh man, David.
Indeed. Yes. So I actually like the topic that you sent over today. I actually brought it up. The last 2 days have been, since all my medical stuff, the last 2 days I've been the most active.
Okay.
And really just tried to push myself to keep going. And I ended up at a baseball game in a luxury suite box, which was freaking nice, by the way.
You have better friends than I do. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe not, but yeah, it was a great time. And this morning, got up. We had to reassemble the house because we couldn't put anything on the carpet last night. But we had to reassemble the house. Then I ran over to a cookout with some other bros, other home slices, and we were over there. And I was talking about the agenda that you sent over because I was reading kind of through it at the table. And a couple people were like, "Man, my boss needs that information. The owner of this company could really learn from that." I'm like, you'd be surprised of how many people can benefit from what we do. And it's not all about getting drunk and talking about pseudo politics or right up close to politics or random poop sampling people on the run and hot loads of sand. I mean, it's not all about that. Sometimes we actually throw some really good business advice out there.
Hidden in all of our drunken ramblings, there is some actual good advice, usually somewhere. Usually.
Yes.
But today's topic, I thought it was a good one. So I'm actually not a sales guy. I'm not into sales. So when I write agendas like this, yeah, you're the sales guy. I'm the marketing guy. I'm usually writing these for me to try and teach myself, like, get over yourself, get out of your, think outside the box, David. Get out of the box. And,
Jesus Christ, man. Drink.
Exactly. And get out there and do this stuff, because it's not rocket science, and it's essentially the same principles in the marketing world. It's just applied differently. That's it.
Yeah.
So so Matt Harmon says sales and marketing are not the same thing. No, they're not. So we have we've
had a few shows
quite a
about
few
that.
times. So
we've had shows about that.
Yep. Maybe sometime we should do that again. The Venn diagram of sales marketing, because I love Venn diagrams. We're not getting political. The Venn diagram of sales, marketing, advertising, and branding. Because somewhere there is an overlap, but they're not the same things.
Yeah. So we have teams in with the business and the company that I work for. And, when I talk to people, I'm like, hey, they talk about this other team. And I'm like, I count them as marketing. And you can see the hesitation and confusion. And then I break down why I count them as marketing. And you can sit and watch every single person I've said this to, that light just go click. Holy crap. If you look at it from that light and then you utilize it to, hopefully it doesn't freeze my thing up there, because I somehow gave it a thumbs up.
Yeah, the thumbs up.
If you look at it from that light and you put them in the marketing box and you set the goals of marketing,
right?
And you apply the goals of marketing to that team, and then you create the funnel out of it into your sales teams, you can actually build a lot better of a system and a process and a flow to go from cold to marketed warm warm leads, and then down into a sales funnel.
Mm-hmm.
And you just watch the lights come on, and these people are 2-3 levels ahead of me, or above me, and I love it every time I get to do it. Like, just to watch these people go, holy crap, man, when you think of it like that, it really makes sense.
Right. I've spoken to many,
keep it simple,
people, pretty high up in pretty big organizations who didn't really understand the difference between marketing, sales, and advertising. So we should do another show on that. I think it's a pretty important message. But
it would be great.
Yeah. But today's show is about how to build trust fast and boost sales. So, the big part that I think a lot of people don't always understand is, and this is something I've mentioned, quite a few times, is just because you build it doesn't mean they're going to come. A lot of people think build it and they will come. People are automatically.
We've used that a lot lately,
but it's 100% true. And you need to actually find a way to relate to your customers and your clients before they have any interest in buying your stuff. Because look, most people, myself especially, hate being sold to. Most people can sniff it out in a second. It's just second nature. Nobody wants to be sold to. So how do you build that camaraderie, that trust with your clients or your customers without being salesy? How do you do it, David? Before we get into the main agenda,
my tactics are very broad and very varying depending on what
you don't want to give away how the sausage is made.
Well, no, not necessarily. I'll be happy to walk anybody through it, but I'm gonna go through a different revision of this, because there is a music store up the street from us. They're not on the beaten path. Meaning that you have to create a destination. And that's what I was up there buying some strings and whatnot. I'm talking to the owner, and, he's talking about, he needs to get this and increase web traffic, so, you could capture a lot here. You got a nice yard outside. I said, close this place down with your normal shutdown time and have a picking evening where you just invite everybody over with their acoustic guitars, and everybody just sits out here and pick. You don't open the store. They're not, they can't buy stuff.
You're making a destination.
You can't buy it. Now you're creating a destination without a sales pitch behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they will make a trip over here.
You're not allowed to buy anything when you come.
Yes, exactly. You can't buy anything. You're not here to buy anything. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm specifically telling you, no, you cannot buy tonight. I specifically want you here to be part of the social group and the social gathering, and that helps create the destination there.
Also builds community.
So I would go with my guitar. I would grab that. Wait, this hand.
There you go.
Yeah, that guitar right there, and I would go. I'm terrible with it, but I would go. I would learn. I would have fun, and I can play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Yeah, I can do that. So but I would go and I would have fun. And other people would go and they'd have fun. You create something and you put it on a cadence. You put it on a schedule. Damn it, I got a drink. I said cadence.
Cadence. Yeah, come on, man. You and your officeisms. Matt Harmon says there's a
Okay.
time and a place for selling, and it never ever involves someone playing guitar, unless you're in the music industry, Matt. But
But you're in the music industry, so it's a time and place for selling. What you're specifically doing is, we're not talking about making a sales pitch. What we're doing right now is, what was the topic of this?
building relationships.
That's on you, West.
Oh, so
building relationship,
right. So
and
building
gaining trust.
building trust with your client and customer.
Exactly. And by not allowing the sale, and you all are here for this social event, you're not here to buy stuff. I'm not here. You are going to create a destination on your Monday through Friday or your weekend for people to come up. It's like, man, I want to go up there and I need a couple new sets of strings, maybe get a tuner,
Right. Because
maybe get my next guitar.
because when people come to hang out,
start building it.
When people come to hang out, they're inevitably going to ask questions about your place, what you have, what you don't have. They're going to get your idea of different products in the industry. They're going to learn about your expertise, and guess what? When they do want to buy something, you're going to be the first one that comes to mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're creating yourself as a shmee. I said that just to get you, West. A subject matter expert. So when people think, hey, I need guitar strings, or I need tuners, or hey, do I really know how to set up my acoustic guitar? The answer for me is no. I'm getting ready to start building them. And luckily, I've got YouTube has walked me through a lot of it. But if you were to tell me to set this guitar,
There you go, that one.
down off the wall and set it up properly, the other two, no problem.
Right.
The other two, no problem. But that guitar right there, no. I want to take it to somebody and I'm going to say, here's $100 or $150 or whatever it costs. Set it up.
Yeah. Yeah,
the idea is you're building that relationship, you're building that camaraderie, and most importantly, you're building that trust. You're creating yourself as a subject matter expert for it, and you are creating your business as a destination.
Right.
Especially when you're not on the beaten path. When you are not on the way from A to B, you need to create yourself as a destination.
Right. And it's so what you mentioned is just one example of how to build trust and camaraderie with your customers or clients. Different business types, different products and service types are going to have different strategies and tactics they can take up. But so we're going to run through 6 of the best tips to help build that trust with your customer and client. That was a great example.
All right,
that was awesome.
Just the tips, yeah. So I mean, and I would classify that, just so you know, I would classify that under marketing. I would put that under the marketing box. And then once they're warming the leads, they're getting the interest, they're gaining the interest, they're informing the potential customers. And then once they start, funneling down, then I'm going to hand them off to sales. And it may be the same exact person, but my tactics and strategy are completely different. And how I attack, or how I approach, not attack, 6 one, half dozen of the other.
Yeah.
How I approach a customer is very dependent on how they were marketed to. So if marketing was aggressive, I don't have to be aggressive.
Right.
If marketing was soft, I need to be more aggressive. So there needs to be a balance in there as well.
Yeah, exactly. And they all sort of play together in the playground really nicely if done correctly.
It does.
So,
yes.
So the first of the tips, just the tip, to build trust.
Oh, he beat me to it.
Build trust. I knew you were going there. And boost sales.
That's what she said.
Is cultivate empathy, David. Cultivate empathy, which I know is tough for you. Cultivate empathy. And empathy is one of those empty words that you hear a lot of, like the hustle porn guys say. You gotta have empathy for people. Yeah, empathy. In the meantime, they're telling you to post 1,200 times a day on social media and sleep 2 hours a night. No, you actually have to cultivate empathy.
Those are the people I'm like, tell me what empathy means to you.
Right. So
whoa, pump the brake there. Pump the brake there, bud.
So they're telling you. So this is kind of a side tangent. They'll tell you have to have empathy for your customers and clients. In the meantime, don't have any empathy for yourself or your family when you're burning yourself out after a week of doing this stuff. So that's a side rant.
West had a tangent. It wasn't Dave this time. It was West.
Oh, my head is full of tangents all the time. Damn. Sometimes they leak out. I had a leak. All right.
Careful if your brain leaks, man. It's not a fun time.
Yeah, no, that's That's so. What you want to do is, if your brain leaks, plug it with lots of booze and cigars. Just jam a cigar right in there.
So I'm not supposed to actually drink too much now, but come Monday, I've given the liver's been given the green light. I mean, not the liver, but the medical guy's like, all right, Monday I can let you go back to smoking and drinking, smoking cigars and drinking again. And I'm like, fuck yeah, man.
Nice. Just
Can't
so
wait till
that's why you
Monday.
bought the humidor, just in anticipation.
Well, no, I got the humidor because I thought it was cool, and
That
it
is super
is.
cool. I got to admit,
It
that sounds
really
super
is.
cool.
It really is a cool. I'm over here. I'm looking at it right now. You guys can't see it, which sucks for you, but it is really. It's really cool. And I've got one of the cabinets at a tilt, or one of the shelves. Actually, both of them are at a tilt.
Yeah.
So that it's like a display case for them.
Okay.
It
Nice.
really is cool.
You got to send me a picture of that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I will. As soon as we're done here tonight, I'll snap a photo over there.
But what do we mean by empathy? So really, to connect with anyone, whether it's clients, customers, interpersonal relationships, you need to actually understand their problems and challenges, right? You can't just be like, listen to them chat, waiting for your time to speak, which is what most people do. You need to actually come to their level and understand their problems. And chances are, if they're coming to you to buy a product or service, your product or service should be solving a problem for them, right? So you need to understand that problem and beat them to the punch. What you ultimately want to do is make them feel understood, right? Make them believe that you understand their problems and you're on the same level and you've actually overcome these problems. That's empathy. Not just sitting there waiting for your turn to talk and waiting for your chance to sell them something. There's a big difference, and unfortunately a lot of people don't quite understand that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So you need to, inspire confidence.
I was waiting for my turn to talk there.
So it's inspire confidence by demonstrating that you're invested in their journey, right? Actually make them feel like you're along this journey with them. Not like, hey, I want to sell you this thing and hit the road. You're there to help them solve a problem. And chances are you understand that problem as well, or not, if not better than them, because you have the solution to that problem. Let them know that. Let them feel that. Because people buy because of feelings. Basically, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, you got. So this is terrible of me. I'm going to tell the story. I sound like a dickhead in this.
This makes you sound like a dickhead?
We go in.
Jeez, David.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so yeah, nothing else did. No, so we go into a jewelry store last week, and we had to resize the wife's rings.
Is this the one that you had that you cut off or something? Wasn't that a thing?
Yeah, I had to cut them. Yeah, I had to cut them off.
Jeez.
But we're going in to have them resized and everything done on them. Actually, shit, we got to go pick those up. But we go in there, and this guy is behind the counter. And I'm like, hey, we got these rings we need to have resized. There was a lady here working with us the last time. We worked with a guy in the booth over there that's blah, 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 whatever. And so this guy's deer in the friggin' headlights.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk slow. And he's like, what's your names? Or blah, 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 blah. And he said something about buying. Like, no, we didn't buy him here. The wedding ring came from this place. And he just,
was he new? Like, what
was
the?
Yeah, I had no clue. But what I did know was I was still suffering I'm still recovering.
Right.
I was not in the greatest headspace. And I just simply said, is there somebody else we can work with? And this lady come around the corner, and I was like, hey, ma'am, look here. We bought these rings elsewhere. We were here. The guys helped us. They offered to get them resized for them. We're here to get them resized. Yep, I can help you out. That's who I'm dealing with.
Right.
She made me feel comfortable. I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to break down every single word in every single sentence.
Right.
This person knew what I needed, was able to pull, from some abstract information of, well, he's worked here with other people here before, and blah, blah, some minor stuff, and was able to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Went through all the stuff, and we walked out of there like 10 minutes later. They had them to get them repaired, and all we got to do, they're ready. All we got to do is go pick them up now.
Right.
So literally the first guy was an absolute no-go. From a sales standpoint, I mean, you cannot sell if you don't make a person feel comfortable,
right,
that they are in good, capable hands.
100%.
And that person did not make me comfortable. I was not feeling well. So
maybe he was having the same issue. Maybe
could have tolerated. Yeah, I probably could have tolerated a little bit more at a different time.
Right.
But not at that time.
Right. Yeah.
Not at that time. I was done.
Yeah. When you walk into a place and you know, they immediately make you feel like you're speaking Greek, and they obviously don't even know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. You're like, yeah,
Yeah.
I
Like
go, yeah.
ring, resize.
What?
Literally, if I worked here and somebody walked in and those were only two English words that they knew, I
Right.
could infer that they have some rings that they need resized.
Right. It's like you're a
We
jewelry
got your
store,
back,
right?
bro.
What about this
Yes.
don't you understand?
I'm like, did I rock up to a McDonald's? Is he going to ask me if I want fries with this?
Right, exactly.
That might be more his speed.
Actually,
I mean,
I would
I'm
take some
picking
fries.
on
That
him. I'm
sounds pretty
picking on
good.
him wildly, but you got to show that. But after we got done, I think the young lady who was helping me, and I looked over him dead in the eyes. I said, thank you also for your assistance.
Yeah, there you go.
It don't want to ruin his day. I mean, it probably didn't help his day, but I didn't want to necessarily ruin his day. But I also did not want to. I didn't have the patience or the crayons to walk through with this guy.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
I love that saying. I don't have the patience or the crayons to explain this to you.
I
I love
might
that.
start using that one too. It's pretty good. So the first one was cultivate empathy, right? And these are going to build upon each
Yeah,
other.
I was very empathetic.
Well, look, you were the customer. You don't have to be empathetic. It was his job to be empathetic with you. As a
Yeah.
customer, you don't have to be empathetic. That's it. That's just all there is to it. I hate to be one of those people who says the customer's always right, because that's not always the case. But the customer
In
at least
most
does
cases,
not
the
need to
customer's a
be.
dumbass.
But the customer does not need to be empathetic. So that's it.
Yes.
It's the
The
salesperson's job to
customer
be
is the
empathetic.
one bringing the money to the table, and that's what I have to try to remind people a lot more than what you would think. That I have to remind people that wait a minute, wait. Un momento, por favor, señoritas.
Yeah, we serve.
They're the
them.
ones that are paying us.
Right.
Let's stop pissing them off, please.
Exactly. Jeez. All right. So cultivate empathy, and again, these are going to build upon each other. The next way is be relatable. Be relatable, which is, in I believe, one of my problems with sales. One of the reasons I'm not a great salesperson is I'm not always relatable. I'm a big nerd. I don't know how to talk sports or football or hey, how's that golf tournament thingy with the guys doing the stuff. I don't know, man. It's not my world. But people who can do that can be relatable. So relatability is one of the key building blocks of any relationship. Show me any friendship, any interpersonal relationship where relatability doesn't come into play. David and I are friends because we have a lot in common. He's
We have matching BFF tattoos on our left buttocks.
That's, well, I was going to say tramp stamps, but pretty close. Pretty close.
Okay.
But even if you can't shoot the breeze, if you're talking about the product or service that they're interested in because they have a specific problem you're trying to solve, get it how these are building upon each other, you can still tell stories about how you've been through the same thing they've been through. And you solved it by doing X, Y, and Z. And you solved it with this product or this service doing these things. And, you overcame it and see, you're being relatable. You don't need to shoot the breeze on like, hey, how is the sports team doing today? I don't know. No, you can actually shoot the breeze in other ways by talking about the product or service. And that relatability is going to help to build that relationship. People want to deal with people like them. People don't want to deal. I mean, it's. I don't mean that in like a weird xenophobic kind of way.
Yeah,
I don't mean it in a weird xenophobic kind of way. They want to deal with people they can relate to. At least on
they
some
want to
level.
deal with somebody that they
have things in common with.
Hell, I was hoping I could find a more poetic way to say that, but I think you nailed it right on the head. That they have that a common ground. At some point, there has to be a common ground.
That's it.
And it goes miles. I mean, I have made some of my best sales not talking about our product whatsoever. Not talking about whatever I'm selling. It doesn't. I've made some of my number one sales have nothing. Matt Harmon. Matt Harmon is probably one of the.
Because he is amazing at shooting the breeze, just shooting the shit, getting out there.
He can be relatable on a degree that some salesmen would sell their soul to me to be that good.
That's
It is phenomenal to see him in action.
right. Yeah, when he's on a streak, he goes. Now, sometimes he doesn't know where to stop, Matt. I know you're watching.
Yeah, Matt.
But no,
Yeah.
when he's on a
What we
sales
need to do is
role,
we take him out and train him with a dog shock collar. Like, you're
right?
doing well, you're doing well. And as he starts going over, we put the beep, 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 beep. And then if he does it, we push the vibrate button that buzzes him.
Give
And
him
then
the
if he
zap.
keeps on going, we just light him up.
That's it.
Yeah, there we go.
So
We'll make a salesman out of you yet, sir.
right. So by building the empathy and then using that empathy to be relatable to your customer, you're going to build that rapport with them to be able to move that customer or client potentially further down the funnel. And again, it's not about being salesy. It's about actually meeting them on their level. Here's another good example. Why do you think so much business is done on the golf course? It's not because two rich guys are sharing monocle stories. Maybe it is because guess what? Guys who are on the golf course, guess they're BSing each other. They're probably having a drink. They're probably smoking a cigar. They're probably commiserating over that terrible shot that one guy hit into the rough. They have things in common they can talk about and meet each other.
If I hit the rough, I am ecstatic.
I don't know. I'm just saying
I'm
golf
still in
words without
play.
actually really knowing what they mean.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. We all know what putting from the rough is. Anyway, but I mean, you're completely right. I thought when I first moved into sales that I joined a golf club, full tilt, had a full tilt membership.
Yeah.
And I got so freaking busy that I golfed a few times as a salesman, and then I got my golf membership, and I never swung a club at that golf club. I didn't at the York there.
Right.
I didn't do it. I was too busy. I find now that I let this sounds mean, the low hanging fruit be at the golf courses. I do usually 1 to 2 charity golf events a year. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 2 years, I haven't done any. And I try to do as much of my business at a cigar lounge as I possibly can.
Well, because that's where you shine, David. I mean, it's a fact. Yeah. That's where you shine. You and I have talked a lot of business at cigar shops. We've brainstormed a lot of crazy ideas at cigar shops.
And we have met some crazy influential people.
It's weird. Cigar shops are a great place to talk business.
It is. I got up. I was in the I don't remember the name of the club. It was over in Rhode Island, and it wasn't the White Smoke or White. I think it's White Smoke Cigar Club. I wasn't at that one. I was at a different club there in Rhode Island, and I ran across the guy, one of the founders of one of these water things that has a button on the top. You push and you shake it up and you drink the water. And Karma water.
Yeah.
So I met one of the founders there, and we're talking to him. There's not much overlap between his business and my business, but
right.
We got to talking, and another guy got to talking, and he had some business, and the guy I was with in there, he was a client of mine, and this guy had a factory.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, hey, this guy here can help you out. And so it wasn't necessarily a firsthand sell for me, but this guy ended up making bank off of these introductions that we made out of the cigar lounge. And, we get out there. He's like, I almost didn't come tonight. I was like, I almost didn't come. I only smoked like 1 or 2 cigars an entire year. I almost was like, no. And he's like, I want to start going to cigar clubs a lot more. Like, you should do that.
Yeah.
You should absolutely do that.
And
it's a great time.
It helps if you're with somebody who's more outgoing, like yourself, or like Matt, because guys like myself, my comfort zone is off in the corner by myself with 1 or 2 or 3 guys, not really relating to the rest of the room. You, on the other hand, or even Matt would be.
I work the room.
You'd work the room, and that's exactly what you do. You go over and you talk to those guys at that table over there, or those guys at that couch over there, and before you know it, everybody in the room. It's just how you are. It's because you're relatable.
And you know what? You get a lot of invitations when you do that too.
Yeah.
Like, hey, me and the guys, we're going to XYZ club over here. in a few weeks. We'll be back in town. I'm like, yeah, I could probably make something happen. Let's do it. And, we end up into other things and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, it's you've gotten us into some interesting places. I'll say that. I'll leave it there.
So I've got a buddy who actually lives down in just north of Miami, and he visits NYC a lot. I bumped into him through cigars,
Yeah.
down in NYC, and we hang out every chance we get. We're down there. We try to hang out. And last time I was down there, we're cheers, and he's like, "You're going to be at my wedding. All I got to do now is find the woman." And I'm like, "All right, freaking, I'm in, man.
Hey, what do you mean
I'm
by
full
NYC?
tilt. Let's do this." New York
New
City.
York City.
Oh, damn.
You're welcome.
Oh, you tricked me before I could figure out what you were doing. You got me. What do you mean by NYC? In my head, I'm like, he's kidding me? Damn, I'm in New York. Oh, I know what he's doing.
There you go. It's just a little too late. So, be
too
relatable, more like David, less like myself, was number 2. Number 3 is demonstrate results. So, I could have just under here for the only bullet point just said social proof, but demonstrate results. So nothing builds trust faster than proven results. If you can show examples of how you've helped people with the same problem before, that's an immediate sale. Or look at Amazon, right? You'll have 2 exact same products, because this is what people do. They'll duplicate the product. It's a race to the bottom of Amazon. That's a whole different story. But they have the exact same product by 2 different listings on 2 different listings. Same exact price. One of them has 3, maybe 3.5 stars. The other one has 4.5 to 5 stars. Which one are you going to buy? You're going to buy the 4.5 to 5 star one, because more people said, "Hey, this is a good one." It has more social proof. It has more proven ability to solve the problem that the product is trying to solve. You're going to trust that one more than the other one that is identical.
So for us older crowds, this was the celebrity endorsement of the past.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't mean anything now because people know that is BS, but
yeah. Unfortunately for celebrities now, doesn't really help much. There is one outstanding difference from the pack, and just his silhouette on a pair of shoes increases its value by $100.
Oh my gosh,
or
dude,
the
residuals that man's making is nuts.
Yeah. I would like to get 1 month of residual check from him. I'd be set for life. I got to tell you, I haven't watched. I know there's a movie or a thing about it, but I would love to know the actual breakdown and the true storyline, and nothing about trying to make a video or a movie about it, about Michael Jordan and how he sculpted his deal with Nike, because man, that's got to be one of the greatest business moves.
Oh my God. I haven't seen the movie either, but I do want to see it. But there have got to be some pretty thorough documentaries on that. I'm sure there have to be.
Well, there's one out there now. It's like a movie, but again, it's a Hollywood, more of a made for Hollywood type of movie. And I don't know how much fact is there. There's probably some things that tie it in, but I would really like to know the ins and outs, and whether it was him that did this, or whether he was smart enough to know, hey, this is outside of my scope of expertise. Here's my business manager or attorney or accountant or whoever, but whoever is actually responsible for that. Chimney Christmas. I mean, I could tell you it's probably the best business move in 50 years. I mean, there's definitely things that have made more money, but from an individual, and those things are built over time.
Right.
But a single signature on a contract that started the Air Jordan era, that extends even to today is
right.
Cheap Christmas.
Oh, it's nuts.
Brilliant business. I love it.
But
give me goosebumps thinking about that.
But yeah,
that's how weird we are, by the way.
Yeah, this is what we nerd out about. It's not the normal stuff. So, but yeah, demonstrate results. So you want to show case studies, testimonials, show examples of specific things that you've done to solve this exact problem. One of the reasons why you want a website with examples of what you've done. You want photos. You want to post these things on Facebook, on social media, so other people can come and see, hey, you've done these things, and actually be able to prove that you've done these things too. And when people can see that you've not only done these things and followed through, that shows that you can follow through for them as well. You don't need to tell them. Nobody wants to be sold on the idea that you can do this. They want to see it for themselves. And they say, oh, if you've done this for, 100 other clients, 10 other clients, 2 other clients, you're going to do it for me too. I trust you. And you're going to get paid according to those results, people, results lead the way. That is going to just pave the way down that funnel for that client or customer. So demonstrate results is vitally important. David, what do you feel? So I have mixed feelings about the idea. You'll hear some of these people who say, look, if you're just starting out, do some stuff for free. Go do some stuff for free. Build that thing for free. Do that thing for free. Just so you have the experience and you have the social proof built up and you can demonstrate the results of having done this. Now, I can argue this point both ways. I have my feelings. I want to hear your feelings.
I could too. I could argue this both ways. I could argue it both ways.
I think I know which way you're going to go, and I think you're going to go the same way as me. Okay. But I want to hear what you think.
So here is going to be my determining factor. On a scale of 0 to 10,
mm-hmm.
how comfortable that your competence is second to none.
Right.
Okay. If I'm like me, I'm certain that I could do X, Y, Z. If you want to bring me in as sales and you clear the path for me, the path is clear for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not discounting shit. It's if you want me, you got to pay for me.
Yeah.
That is simply it. If I'm saying, oh, I'm probably in the top 75%, well, okay. That means a quarter of the people walking around the street are better than you.
Yeah,
you might want to entertain something to add your social proof and do some pro bono things that you're going to call equity,
sure,
social equity or proof equity, whichever way you want to do that, into your bucket. Okay, mm-hmm. So in that case, let's say you fall in the range of mediocre. Okay, because let's face it, you know what? We're going to take a small tangent, but it does tie back in.
Okay.
The 5-star rating for everybody.
Yeah, sure.
Uber, for Amazon, for all these places. If I order a product, it performs exactly as it says it will.
Mm-hmm.
It performs exactly as I expected that it would, based upon the explanation of the product. What rating is that product?
Yeah.
To me, that is a 2.5. That is
That's
down
neutral,
the middle.
Right down the middle. Yeah.
And it didn't do anything less than I expected of it, but it didn't do anything more than I expected of it. It did exactly what I expected of it. But people look at a 2.5 rating as, oh, that's a shit rating. I'm like, wait a minute. Most of the people walking around on this planet are 2.5s. Okay. Hey, let's hey, Lachlan, what's up, bud?
How's it going?
You don't have a shirt on.
Yeah.
You got hot. He was doing some playing earlier.
Ah.
It was hot today.
Yeah.
It was.
Hey,
it was.
Tell David what you did.
I went to my friend's place and actually I played my first game of the year, my first soccer game of the year.
Played his first soccer game of the year. And you played
really
play
good. Football
you got
next
some
year?
great kicks on the ball.
All right, you gonna play football next year?
No.
Well,
or you can play football this year.
He's gonna play actual football, not American football.
But yeah, no, American football. That's what gets you all the. American football is what gets you all the women, and you want the ladies.
He's gonna play actual football.
You gotta get the honey.
No, he's gonna play actual football, the one that's hard, because you have to run the whole time.
I've been to an MLS game. I've been to one.
Yeah.
I went to one.
Look, a crew game is fun. Crew games are fun. We've been to some crew games. You got to go.
I'll tell you. I will tell you. I would rather go watch my daughter play soccer.
Yeah.
Than go back to a crew game.
Why? What's wrong with crew?
Well, they run for like 10 seconds.
What?
And then they fake it for like 5 minutes.
So look, that's a problem with soccer is guys fall and they fake like they're hurt the whole time. But those guys, for the most part, are sprinting the entire game. Like sprinting back and forth the entire game. Okay, Dave, next time you're in town, you're going to come to a crew game with Locke and I, and we're going to have fun.
Ooh. Oh, okay, so, we'll go to that, but then Locke comes with you and I to the cigar lounge later.
Yes.
We're going to show him how to live. We'll bring you a 7-year aged apple juice.
That's it. It'll be almost as old as him. All right, buddy. You heading to bed?
Almost as old as I am, said right. Bilbo Baggins.
Good night, kiddo. See you later. All right. Okay. So the daughter is sick right now. She's not feeling well. Again, she's so delicate. Every
Well,
little thing.
it's probably because she's not wearing her cat ears enough.
I took her to the cigar lounge and she just can't handle herself.
Oh, yeah,
She's
turn them green
only
something.
7, so you know.
Yikes! Anyway, freaking kids can't hold their liquor anymore.
That's what I'm saying. I know. What's wrong with kids today?
Yeah, it's bananas. Bananas.
All right. So where were we?
Where were we? We were on the tangent. We were talking about something
results.
that was
you want to demonstrate results.
2.5. So, most of the people that are walking around out there on the street, they're 2.5s. They're going to give you exactly what you expect from a quality standpoint, from a customer service standpoint, from a subject matter expert standpoint. You're getting a 2.5. To think that a 2.5 star is a bad rating, it's not a bad rating. That is perfect.
It's right down the middle. Yeah.
That is exactly. You didn't go above and beyond. You didn't like.
But you didn't have any points taken away.
But you didn't get any points. You didn't deduct any points. You told me you were going to do this, and you did exactly that.
That's it.
That is 2.5. If I say, hey, this hotel is a 2.5, I got the king suite, or the king room. Because I'm a weirdo. I don't like having the extra bed in my room. Everybody has their thing, right?
Right.
What was it? Jeff from the Goalie Dads United. I have no CD because I don't care. I have no CD on most things, and if I have to deal with 2 queens in a room or 2 fools in a room, I can live with it. I get over it. But I much prefer just to have a king. But anyway,
right.
But if they give me the room that I asked for, it's clean. It's what I expect is to be cleaned and everything, and it's 2.5. It's a 2.5. But if I go in, and I do this often, so I'm going to use the Loft, which is a Marriott property over in Buffalo, because I go over there significantly. I'll actually be over there next week. And I go to Buffalo, and I go to the Loft over there, and I always rent a king room. They always upgrade me to their like presidential massive party. It's got a full-size bar in it. It's got a huge area for a dance floor. It's got video games in it. It's got a huge bedroom, and it is just it's their top. I know exactly when they go, Mr. Leffingwell here. I'm like, you giving me this number? And I'm like, yes. I'm like, all right, great. I love that room. Thank you so much. I'm very gracious with them. That is a 5-star. I went in expecting this, but I got this.
Right, exactly.
So the social proof, I don't remember where we're going with this now, but the social proof is, we have this expectation of everything has to be 5-star, has to be 5-star, has to be 5-star, has to be 5-star. To me, that's a fundamental flaw in it. So
all right, fair enough.
As much as I detest the idea that everything has to be 5-star, from a business standpoint, from a sales standpoint, you have to understand that that's the way the mentality works. Is it's 5-star or no star? 5-star or 1-star? That's what they give you. You get a 5-star or a 1-star. Basically, we took it to a thumbs up, and I'm not going to do it because it'll freeze my freaking camera if I do it on purpose. But we went to a thumbs up or thumbs down. YouTube did that. Went from 5 or from the star rating to a thumbs up, thumbs down.
So we're off on kind of a weird side tangent. What the question actually was what's your feeling on giving away free work to build social proof?
Yeah, I remember trying to avoid that. And then I was like, shit, I could talk about this tangent over here instead. So really the bottom line is if you're okay. Oh no, they did tie in. Holy shit.
Are you sure?
Yes. So if you think that you're in that 2.5, that 1-star to 2.5 star or 1-star to 3 stars, then you may want to actually consider giving away some work to build that social proof, to stockpile that social proof. Sure. If you're above that, like if they were coming to me and somebody asked me to do something in my core, not a chance.
Yeah, so I think
not a freaking chance.
So we're going with this is if you're good and you're good, don't give away the free stuff. If you need the practice, if you think you need the practice to actually build yourself up to get the experience, give away the free stuff, but don't use it as don't think about it as you're giving away free stuff. Think about it more as you're building up experience. You're actually improving yourself by doing this.
You're building experience, and you're building social proof, and you're building social, and you're building equity, and your equity in your brand.
Right, you're actually killing multiple birds with one stone by doing that. So sometimes it's okay to give away free stuff. Sometimes it's okay because you are building social proof. You're getting
don't ask me to do something for free.
Right, but if you're good and you know you're good, don't give it away for free. You know what you can do is, say you build websites. Guess what? Build some mock websites. Don't give them away. List them on your own page and say, this is what I can do. I can do the same thing for you. There's no reason. If you make X, Y, and Z products, you say, yeah, these are great. These are amazing. You can give some away if you want to get some people, if you want to get some good reviews, but don't feel like you need to, because you're the best. You know you're the best, and if you advertise yourself and market yourself correctly, you can move a few products to begin with, and people will give you good reviews if you can live up to that hype.
So I'm gonna go. So me, I don't give my product away for free. There are things I do for free. I change out like electrical services for people. They come to me and they go, hey, blah 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 blah, and I go in and I don't do it. It's not something I do often, but I do it, and I don't charge a nickel for it.
Right.
It is something that it goes from anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000. I don't charge a penny for it. But there is, Christmas, I just had it in my head that was like, and I'm going to bail at the last moment here, David.
But
thought.
Don't feel like you need to give stuff away for free.
I got it.
It's back. It's back. Go ahead.
It's back.
Right.
Okay. But there's a company called Positive Grid. Positive Grid makes guitar amplifiers called the Spark. Mm-hmm. And what they did was basically did a huge pre-launch campaign with influencers where people like me, now I play guitar very badly, but I play guitar in a loose sense of the word.
You're better than me, significantly.
Loose sense of the word. And we could pre-order, but it was months and months and months. And some people had to wait up to a year to get their product when they kept seeing all of these influencers getting their amps, and those influencers got their amps for free.
Well, yeah. Okay. That brings up another good point. That's a good point.
So they gave away a lot of their product to drive that pre-order, so that pre-delivery sales.
Sure.
So let's say you're trying to bring a new product to market, and you say, hey, I need this. So you release a handful of them out, maybe 30, 40 of them out to very specific people to drive that social proof.
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
And that just builds that pre-order. Your pre-order list is huge. Now you can take that pre-order list and say, now I've got something for manufacturers to say, I'm going to do this in bulk. You can lower your cost of production. There's a lot that goes into that. And I'll tell you right now, I used to have a Marshall half stack. I used to have a bunch of pedals. I don't have any of it anymore. I have none of it. I got rid of all of it. I have the Spark Positive, the Positive Grid Spark amp.
Sure.
That's it.
So the product you're talking about giving away for free now is a little bit different. Not the product, but the way it's given out. So that product was given out not to build social proof to begin with necessarily. That was almost more of a marketing tactic. So when you give things out on that perspective, yeah, it does build some social proof, and yeah, it does build some hype. But you need to think about that as a marketing tactic almost differently than building a website for free for this guy, or for, giving these products out to a bunch of people so they'll give you good reviews. Yeah, it kind of solves the same purpose, but at the same time, it's a little bit different. So it kind of overlaps. So yes and no. I do highly recommend in all cases approaching influencers and giving stuff away to them for free. But don't think about that as giving away your service. When you find influencers, think about it as a marketing tactic. Definitely give your stuff away for free. It will kill multiple birds with one stone.
Yeah.
So you're right. Yes,
Yeah.
you're
Except
right, Dave.
unless you're me, then I don't give it away for free.
Well, your product is a
Either
little bit different. I don't think they're necessarily influencers per se. They're kind of are, but they're kind
yeah,
of aren't.
I'm the influencer. I just crack my knuckles and say, buy my stuff.
Well, that's another tip coming up here very soon. We're not there quite there yet, but that was demonstrate results.
Oh,
Number 4
I'm ready.
is communicate effectively, which I just didn't do. Communicate effectively.
That was a great time to stutter through that one, bud.
Like every point of my life is stuttering through. That's what I do in life now.
Hey, are you still on that same beer? Or have you changed up yet?
I did change it up. So right now I'm drinking I Find Your Lack of Hops Disturbing.
Bro,
It's pretty cool. I mostly bought this for the can. It's pretty awesome. I like the can.
Dude,
It's a basic IPA. It is what it is, but the name and the can were cool.
Still. Okay, so yeah.
That is from Taft's Brewing Company. Pretty tasty.
Okay. That's cool. So now I'm not a marijuana fan, right? I'm going to lay that out there.
I would never guess that,
but,
David.
But I'm not. I don't like the smell. I don't like anything about it.
No, yeah.
I don't like to be near it. But I would like to, and I'm sure there's got to be some website somewhere because it's kind of taking over the country at the moment. The names.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to do a name challenge between the marijuana and IPA beers.
Right, because it's basically the same thing.
A bracket. Yes, to do a bracket between those two products, just to see who comes up with the most creative and the most outlandish names.
Well, I have a strong feeling there's a lot of overlap there too. I think most people who name IPAs probably partake in the devil's lettuce more often than not.
I would agree. I drink Bavarian low hopped, low alcohol beer. I am not a fan of the marijuana.
Right. But yeah,
I can't even pronounce it right.
Agree. I think there's a lot of overlap there. That'd be a fun challenge though. I think
it'd be a fun time.
Between the two of us, I'll bet we could get a panel on that. We should do that show. Do a show on that.
Yeah. Ooh, Kim
Howard. Kim Howard, are you listening?
Howard.
We need your feedback. Do you drink? I'll bet she drinks.
We're going to need some advice. I don't know.
But communicate effectively. Not efficiently.
Communicate effectively.
Not efficiently, but effectively.
Not efficiently.
So effective communication is vitally important to building trust. Again, whether it's with clients and customers or interpersonal relationships, right? So, one of the first things that I do when I get a new client is I'll sit down with them and I'll have just a conversation. I need to get to know them. I need to get to know their business, their product, their service, what their goals are, what their KPIs are, so I can actually fully understand them and where they're coming from. And part of what I
tried that with Stanley Steamer yesterday. It got weird. They're like, I'm just here to clean your carpet, sir.
Yeah, they're just here to clean your carpets. You're breaking out IPA and weed. So it was a weird conversation either way.
I need to know your soul.
What would you call this marijuana?
You got to do a hard G. The marijuana.
So when I
just to piss people off.
When I start that new client interview, it's just to kind of a get to know you session. Mostly, I do want to know what they want me to do for them. Why are they hiring me? But at the same time, I want to get to know them, their business, their product, their service. And what that also shows them is that I care about them. I care about their business and their product, their service. And I'm literally, if I can't immediately relate to them, I'm getting to know them to the point to where I can. And that reinforces that in their mind as well. So you actually need to, again, meet them on their level, be empathetic, be relatable, and actually get to know them and let them get to know you too. Any interview, you go in for a job interview, the interviewer is going to ask you questions about yourself. And I'll tell you, the person who immediately gets hired, is the person who also asks questions back about the company, about the team, about the team leader, about how they like to do things, about the culture. When you go to a job interview, ask questions back. You're not just there to talk about yourself. You need to learn about them too.
All right. I've got to jump in.
Uh-oh.
I got to jump in here. This is just for anybody out there, and we should really do a show on doing interviews.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm a great interviewer, by the way. I'm really good at interviews.
Yeah. So I don't. Maybe you take the same tactic as I do, because I don't think of it as they're interviewing me.
Right.
I'm interviewing them.
Right. That's it.
I'm the
Are they
prize.
worthy
I'm
of
the
my attention?
prize. Yes. I'm the prize. Are you? Do you have a shot at me?
That's it. That's how you
And
have to
that
look
is
at it.
literally how I do it.
David, that's our
That is
next show. We're doing
literally
that
how I
next
do it.
week. That's our next show.
Okay, great.
That's gonna be a good
Gonna
one.
be awesome.
That'll be a fun one.
That's gonna be great. It is. So when I used to, so I did. Okay, you know what? We'll save it for next week. I was going to keep the tangent going. I'm like, shit, we're going to use all our material this week. We don't have it. No, I'll shut up and we'll do it next week.
All right, but communicate effectively.
But that's going to be good.
Communicate effectively is number 4. So that's really what it comes down to. You need to not only, let them know what you bring to the table, learn about them. What do they bring to the table? How can you better solve their problem by understanding them and where they're coming from, and by communicating, having that really good back and forth makes a big difference. And even if you already have a job, what's one of the main things you need to do? You need to communicate with your team and with your boss. How are you meeting your KPIs? How are you meeting these goals and these needs and solving these problems? In all cases, KPI. I like KPIs. I could talk about KPIs all day.
I know you can, but I'm going to drink to it.
I'll drink to KPIs. Okay. But by having that communication, and it's a two-way communication, by the way, you can actually build that trust even more. Nobody wants to hire a person who's probably pretty expensive. By the way, you want to have a good margin on your product or service. Nobody wants to hire somebody or buy something, and the person who sold it to them is immediately gone. No, you want that ability to go back and have the conversation, have the communication.
Yeah.
Especially if it's an ongoing service. Nobody wants to hire a service and you never have any communication with that service. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's I have done that a couple times, and because there is some businesses that have sales teams, and the moment that the sale is closed, they're off to the next.
Oh man,
and
I can tell some stories.
A complete other team takes over from there, and there was a lot of customer dissatisfaction.
In marketing, that happens every single time.
There's a lot of customer dissatisfaction, and I've stepped in and said, "Hey, guys, can you guys?" Sometimes it's as simple as copy them on an email. Sometimes that's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
But just once a month at the longest span, you guys need to keep the people that are sales, because we're salespeople. And if you get Matt on here, Matt, again, I can't express this enough. Matt is probably one of the best freaking salesmen, just pure salesman.
Oh yeah,
you will ever come across. He needs a shocker collar
sometimes
to keep him from going too far, but he is probably one of the absolute best salespeople next to me that you'll ever come across. And and so many times that sometimes a sales team will oversell, or sometimes a sales team doesn't set proper expectations.
I would say, Go ahead. Well, I was going to say, you're exactly. So 9 times out of 10 in the marketing world, so I've worked for, a few Fortune 500 companies, really big companies. And 9 times out of 10, when we're buying a big new, MarTech stack service, drink to that 12 times, because that's a mouthful of nothing.
Jesus, dude, I can't take much more on this.
So the sales team who sold it to us, and and it happens so often, we actually know this going in. The sales team will sell us, results. This thing it never had to begin with, but they tell us that it does, and we believe them because they're salespeople and they should know their product. And we actually get to the point where we're using the product on a daily basis, and the service team that we're dealing with now, because the sales team, they're off to another customer. The service team is like, sometimes the sales team doesn't always know what they're talking about. And we're like, well, yeah, no shit. Thanks for that. So that happened again 9 times out of 10. And in fact, I've had many calls where I'm like, okay, sales rep, I appreciate you. I think you're doing a great job. I like you on a personal level as far as I know you. But
what
just
the
for
fuck?
but just for my peace of mind, this is an 8-figure deal we're talking about here, and so I don't have to answer questions later about this. I need someone from your service team and your technical team to join this next call, so we can actually go through these different bullet points and these different services that you offer, just to make sure that these things are these requirements are met. And there have been a few times when I've been on these calls and the service team's like, and the sales guy's like, oh, it'll do X, Y, and Z, and the service guy's like raises his hands like, it doesn't really do that.
So
I've been on a few of those calls.
So West, you have actually been through a class that I make my sales teams go through.
Mm-hmm. It was a great class. I liked it. It was fun.
Was it sales oriented?
No, and it was great. I loved that. In fact, I thought that I would be in over my head because I was afraid like these guys would be, in so deep they know 10 times more than me. And I got in there. I'm like, I feel pretty comfortable right now. I feel okay about this.
Yeah. After working with me, you and I worked direct a lot.
Yeah.
So you had a leg up on a lot of people there. But you set in on it. And here's one of the things is I make my, when I bring in MPI, son of a bitch.
Drink.
Just drink. Okay, dead air there. Okay, yeah. So when I bring a product in here, especially this one we're working on, mm-hmm. When I bring that in, I make the sales team take the technical training.
Yeah, because they need to know the capabilities of the product or service they're trying to sell, and so they can communicate that properly to the customer.
Yes.
So
communicate the expectations.
Yeah.
So that you can effectively. I'll give you this one, and efficiently, I'll give you this one, communicate to the customer,
right.
And you feel comfortable in it, when you feel more comfortable in it, it's going to make you more comfortable talking and bringing it in.
That's it.
To bringing those sales in. And so, it's, I don't worry. Our salespeople know how to sell, right?
Yeah.
Salesmen sell. It's
Sometimes
in their nature.
Sell things that don't exist, but they sell.
It's who we are. Yes. I mean, I can sell you shit that doesn't exist all day long. I'm going to solve every problem you ever had.
Right.
I'm a salesman. It's what we do. I don't have to teach my sales teams how to sell. Right. They know what the hell they're doing there. What I need to teach my salesmen is what they are selling.
Right.
And the more technical I can get them, the better it is for me.
Right.
Because that trims down on secondary calls, that trims down on design calls, it takes a ton off of the back end because we may have oversold or undersold a product.
Mm-hmm.
We are 2.5. We're 2.5 stars right down the middle. We said it's going to do this, it's going to do exactly that. And that 2.5 stars is exactly where I want my sales team to be.
That's it. So communicate effectively is a big one that a lot of people overlook, especially when they get into sales.
Hops.
Yeah,
dude, that's a great name for a beer.
I literally bought this just for the can, so it's pretty cool.
I found your lack of hops disturbing. That is awesome.
So communicate effectively.
That is awesome. Who's the brewer? Who's the brewer on that?
Taft's Brewing. I think they are in Cincinnati.
Okay. Yeah. I might have to, next time I'm over in Ohio, I actually have a client down in Cincinnati I need to go see. So next time I'm over there, maybe I'll go by and be like, all right, I've got to get that beer.
It's a good one. I might have a spare in the fridge. I'll save it for you.
I've still got the one here.
I know. I was supposed to take it home. We both forgot about that.
And I was in such rough shape.
You were in bad shape.
I was in such bad shape. I think I was in between surgeries when you were up here.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I was. I was in between surgeries when you were up here, and so it's still in the fridge. It's Roots and Trees and Friends and Things.
That's a cool name. Look, that does sound like a strain of
marijuana. Yeah,
Mary Joanna, the Mary Jane, which is also one of the best Halloween candies ever. Mary Jane's. I love Mary Jane's. My wife makes fun of me.
Is it the peanut butter ones?
Yeah, they're delicious.
Oh, I love those.
Right. My current wife makes fun of me.
Is that the black and the orange
I
package?
think it's
No,
gold
that's the
and
little one.
red.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they're
I know what you're
like
talking about. Yeah, those are freaking awesome.
they'll rip the fillings right out of your teeth, but they're delicious, man.
Oh,
And
yeah.
my current wife makes fun of me.
Absolutely.
She says they're grandpa candy. And I'm like, yeah, they are, and they're amazing. Like those, and give me
Dude,
those, give me some Charleston chews and some black licorice, man. I'm happy.
I love black licorice.
Right.
Oh,
Thank
man,
you.
that's so good.
Thank you.
And even I used to call
It's
it wood candy because it was crunchy and it was had like peanut butter filling inside of it.
Yeah.
But I call it grandpa candy because my great grandfather, not even my grandpa, my great grandfather had it always in
What
a
do they call
dish.
those? Something sticks.
Yeah,
Something sticks.
like a Chico
Like
stick.
a Chico stick. Yeah.
Yeah,
Chico sticks.
it was very similar, very similar to a Chico stick, and yeah, I mean, oh, so good. It's one of those old things are better.
I'm not the only one. Yeah, they're way better. They're way better.
Yes.
All right. So now here's one that I think you're not going to like the title, but you'll like the content, which is
All right.
prioritize service over sales. Prioritize service over
Whatever,
sales.
bud. Whatever, bud. I am the world's foremost lead that charge. I am George Washington crossing the freaking Hudson.
Delaware.
I'm not going to
the Delaware. He crossed the Delaware.
No, it was the Hudson River.
Was the Hudson? I thought it was the Delaware.
It was the Hudson. It might have been Delaware.
I think it was the Delaware.
Might have been Delaware.
He crossed some river. But anyway, it was the Allegheny. I don't know.
He crossed some. It was the Hushumawana.
Yeah.
And as far as leading the charge on service, customer service is paramount.
That's it.
I have talked about it many times. Where I have said you can actually produce an inferior product with excellent customer service and still be number one.
Right.
But you cannot have the number one product with shit service and be even remotely in the conversation to be on top of the game. You can't do it.
So, I mentioned earlier that people can sense when they're being sold to. People hate that. And especially me. Like, I'm overly aware of it, like, in more ways than I actually should be.
I'm salesman over here. When I see the sales tactics, I'm like,
yeah, no. It immediately turns me off. I will do everything I can to avoid a salesperson. So people can tell they're being sold to, and it's a turnoff, right? So instead, what you need to focus on is actually.
So what turns you on, West?
What turns me on is going in with the intention of helping. That's my go-to. Yep. That really drives
solving problems.
Needs. So go in not with the intention of a sale. Go in with helping. Go in with the intention of helping. Go in with the intention of solving that problem. And you know what? Just like in sales, sometimes you're gonna get shot down, but sometimes you won't. But if you go in with the idea of, look, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not. I can walk away from this comfortable in the fact that I'm not selling you a single thing. I want to help you with this.
Yep.
Yeah, my service costs money. Yeah, my product costs money. But guess what? It's solving this problem for you. You have this problem. This thing solves it. I'm just the middleman. I'm here to help you. And if you don't want my help, that's fine. There's 10 other guys out there who can help you. I would like to be the one because I'm not trying to sell it to you. I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, they're not as good as I am.
And that's it. So I think that's also where you shine. That's where one thing that you're really good at is you are such a subject matter expert in your area that people can get that from speaking to you. Yeah, you're there to make sales ultimately, but really, I mean, you come in with the idea of, yeah, I know X, Y, and Z problems. I've solved X, Y, and Z problems a million times. What you need to do is A, B, and C to do those things.
I have never tried to sell a single thing.
Right, and that's it.
Simple as that.
I remember, back in that I was in college, and I was between clients. I was selling cameras at Best Buy, and I
worked at Best Buy for a time too.
Very multiple times. I actually got written up for this once. I got coached for this. For not selling
coached.
Things. Yeah, coached. I got coached for this, for not selling things, because customers, I would say, hey, you know what? Go next door. They got the same thing. They got it discounted right now. What you want to do is you want to ask for, this product, do this thing, say these things, and you're going to get the same thing at a discounted price. And you know what? I got in trouble for that. I remember the store manager pulling me to the side one time, and he gave me a real big dressing down, saying, "Oh, people can't walk out of your department without buying anything. People walk in here, they want to buy something. You have to sell them something. People cannot leave your department without buying something."
Wait. What year did you work there?
This was
You were at Tuttle? Were you at Tuttle?
it was the Tuttle Mall Crossing location.
Yeah,
It was
Tuttle over. Yeah, I worked at Tuttle.
2006-ish, maybe.
Oh, okay, I worked there before you. Okay,
Yeah.
because the guy used to say to me, "Hey, they're coming here because they what?" I worked back
It's probably
in
the same guy.
TVs and DVDs and everything, and he used to all the time say, "They come in here because they want to spend money. They come in here because they're looking to buy."
It was probably the same guy.
All right. And I cleaned house. I mean, we didn't make commissions, but man, I cleaned house. I sold.
So
shit.
I was in a section that didn't make commissions. I refused to ever work a job that's on commissions. That's a whole different story because I'm weird. But I didn't make commissions. But I was selling pretty high end stuff. I was selling digital cameras, which were pretty expensive at the time. And I told him specifically, I was like, you know what? Most of the time, people are just shopping. They just want to know what's out there. They want to know what their options are. And if they really need something, they're going to come back to me because they know that I know what I'm talking about. He's like, no, that's not the case. If somebody comes in, they want to spend money, they want to buy the thing. And people, and what saved me was that this actually happened. People would actually go next door to the Walmart and to the Target, and they would look around, and they would come back, and they would ask for me. And sometimes I wasn't there, and they would still, they have to deal with somebody else. But I told them specific examples of like people last week were asking for me because they knew I knew what I was talking about. And yeah, they could have got a better deal someplace else, but they wanted to buy from me because I was good. And that saved me. Like I actually got the coaching because I was sending people away without selling them something.
So this is, and I don't remember what year, but I'm gonna call it the 90s. I'm gonna call it the 90s Miracle on 34th Street.
Okay.
If anybody remembers that movie, it's the marketing idea from the Miracle on 34th Street, which is the Macy's and whatnot. If you guys ever get a chance down in New York City.
There you go.
I gave you space.
I'm just gonna get a jar of paste picante sauce and hold it up every time you say that.
It works. But you go down there and you watch that movie and you see that he was sending people elsewhere, and they're like, you know what? I'm not going to go elsewhere. I'm going to spend the extra money here because if you're going to put the parent or the person above the almighty dollar, you've earned my business. And the fact that you didn't try to sell them, you tried to solve a problem or provide them a solution. It brought them value.
That's it.
Which made you valuable.
Right. That's exactly it. That's exactly
it. Made your manager an idiot.
By providing service over sales, you're not you're providing value, and you're becoming valuable. I'm glad you said that. That's actually a really interesting way to look at it. Yeah. And that's it. You are the value that you are providing to your customers.
Yeah. They don't get you elsewhere. They get you here.
And that goes back to the other one about communicating effectively or even demonstrating results, which, we talked about the sales teams who would, after the sale, they'd pass them on to the service team and they'd never be seen again. Guess what? They weren't providing value. When you're providing true value to your customers and clients, I mean, that's just irreplaceable.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Even if somebody can come along and effectively do the same things as far as, hey, I can sell you XYZ gadget and XYZ widget. That's still not you. And you are the missing piece in the X plus X plus X equals a sale. Right. And you are the final X in the equation. So, or A plus B plus C equals the sale, and A is the product, B is the service, C is you. And if you don't have C, you don't have a sale. That's it. And that's just the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Exactly. All right. So
haven't heard that in a while.
So we have one more of these. We have one more of these. We're going to run through real quick before we get to the last one, because these all build up to this very last one. And this last one is the cornerstone. The one vital piece that can make you the absolute most important person in any organization. And so the first one was cultivate empathy. Second one, be relatable. 3, demonstrate results. 4, communicate effectively. Number 5 was prioritize service over sales. And this all leads up to number 6, which might be the very most important.
What SEC would be interested in before they file charges.
Yeah, if you're
That is a
getting a call
joke.
from the SEC,
That's a joke.
yeah, do not. Then you're in big trouble.
It's a joke.
This all led up to number 6, which is the very most important one. And I think in any industry, in any part of your life, this is the most important thing. Establish yourself as the authority, and the one with the most expertise. That is it. So, David, before we're even online, you and I were talking about being the subject matter expert, and
Yeah.
that leading to certain different positions, doing different things. When you are the subject matter expert in what you do, you can position yourself as the authority in any niche, and
Yeah.
with the top level of expertise in that role. That is absolutely irreplaceable in any organization, any relationship, any organization. You need to find your niche and then dedicate yourself to it. Because when you are the subject matter expert, everybody's coming to you for answers. That's it. That's what it comes down to.
You just can't overstate the value.
Yeah.
You can't. It's impossible. It's impossible. So West established himself as the authority to these customers in the previous examples that we were just talking about. And they came back because guess what? When you go to the Walmarts or the Targets, you don't
You're
get
dealing
West.
with a random person who just happened to be walking by at the time. You're not dealing
And
with
what
somebody
does he
who
have?
actually knows what they're talking about.
What does that guy have? What does that guy have? A key to unlock the freaking thing so you can get to the product. That is what you get. But when you go to the Best Buy in 2006 or whatever it was, you get West. And West knows about apertures and things. I think that's a word. I'm not sure.
It's a whole thing. So
I click some buttons until my camera
there's
looks
the
better.
apertures
That's
and
it.
the CCDs, and they do something with the chips.
Yeah,
and
they do the ABCs, they do the chips, and there's some reflective mirror and mirrorless and all this. It's a thing.
Anyway, so establish, and I can say the same thing about the fires and the smokes and the whatnot.
Yeah,
but yeah,
when you
establish
have,
yourself as
I mean,
authority.
I have my product. Yeah, when I have my products, and I am considered a very valuable expert in that box, and inside of that box, I don't give away anything for free.
Right.
B, and to meet the rest of these things here is, I never try to sell anybody anything. What I do is I'm here for them as a solution, and I always put the service first. And so if you were to look at my resume through here, and this is great because this literally, what we went through today is my resume. We went through kind of exactly how I go through my resume and when I'm speaking about myself, and when I'm interviewing companies, if I'm interested in working for them or not. They have to be able to compensate me for these expertises and for these expertise. How do you say it? Is it plural? Expertises?
The plural of expertise is expertise.
Okay, all right then. The plural of expertise is expertise. So English is not one of them. That's why I've got a West. So I go back to Best Buy.
I know the phraseology. I know the phraseology behind these things.
Oh, I have lost that bet. I'll
never let you forget.
It hurts me every day. I'm like, phraseology. I wake up in the morning, I'm like, phraseology.
Damn it, it's a real word. Damn it.
It's a real word.
That's or we can make a t-shirt about that. Phraseology. It's a real word.
It pains me. So I just got the renewal for phraseology.
Oh, nice. Okay. That's that'd be good. That would be a good website about crazy turns of phrase that most people think shouldn't actually be in the English language but are, because there's some weird ass things.
There are some better things to use phraseology for than that.
Well, that's true. It could be like it would be political. It could be like a Rob Dyrdek. What is his TV show that he has? The Insaneology or something that he has. The Ridiculousness, which I hate that just because I hate the word ridiculousness because it's not a word that it bothers me. Anyway, that's my OCD talking.
ridiculousness.
But establish yourself as an authority and the one with the most
Yes.
expertise. So there's some ways you can demonstrate
Yes.
this. So you can do this through just general thought leadership in industry, which you do, David. You can do this through speaking engagements. You can do this through publishing articles. David, there's some things you've thought about doing as far as creating video content for your industry, and
I'm
you have
actually
done some
doing
of that.
it right now.
Yeah, and what that
I'm
does,
actually literally at my garage right now and
Right.
creating training videos for what I'm doing right now.
right, and what that does is that actually builds you up in the industry. People, even if they're not engaging with you directly, they're still engaging with your content, which you produced. So, you've been recognized in other areas because of things that you've produced. And they're like, oh, you're the guy who did
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z. You're the guy who was on the Underdog
Oh,
journey.
yeah, I was with the guy. Well, I was in a meeting down in Atlanta, and I get this guy, and who actually became my boss now. And we're down in Atlanta. He's like, "Oh, you're the guy with the podcast." I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, "You're the guy who does that podcast on Mondays." I'm like, "Yeah.
Yeah.
How the hell do you know about this?" And then there's
Right.
another guy from Australia. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're the guy." I'm like, "What the hell, man?
Right,
What's going
people-
on here?"
Look, stuff like that spreads, and the better it is, the more informative, the more value it provides to the viewer,
Yeah.
the more it establishes you as the thought leader. And there are some hacks behind this too. Look, if you are just starting an industry and you kind of you're not like the top knowledge guy, you're not the top subject matter expert, but you want to establish yourself as being up there, here's a good hack. Video content. Do interviews. That's the best hack in the world. Because and few people realize this. When you look at
And
interviews,
we have pitched this. We have pitched this many times.
I love this
So
tactic.
you don't have to go back and watch all of our shows, which you should.
You should totally.
But when you do those interviews, you could actually bring somebody on that could be actually more knknowledgeable than you are.
You should always. If in fact, this is a side rant here. If you are the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room. Always, always, always interview people who are smarter and more qualified than yourself. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh my God! Do you see what your wife just put on our screen?
No, hang on.
Did you see, Kiki?
She said, "When is this getting better?" She's had a rough day. Look, my daughter kept us up all night, throwing up last night.
Your puppy was ill,
and the dog was sick. Kirsten's been very stressed for about 2 weeks now. So let's give her a break. But that's pretty brutal. My current wife is apparently not in a good headspace right now. Thank you, sweetie.
Come on, Keeks. We can't be mean like this. Come on.
This is everybody watching and listening. This is as good as it gets. Take that how you will.
I don't know if my wife's watching or not. Man. She probably just said screw.
John Calendar knows.
Hey, there's John.
Boobies.
So, yeah. I mean, what can't be improved?
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Yeah, you got the thumbs up there, David. Even Skype agrees with you.
Skype agrees with you, John Calendar. Thumbs up to boobies.
All right. So, but when you interview, I'm a little self-conscious now after that comment from my wife. Jeez. So
when is this getting better? Why do you guys still suck?
But
I mean, that's what I heard.
So picture late night talk show hosts. Probably some of the dumbest people you'll ever meet in your entire life. When you actually meet them, they're incredibly stupid. They're like right on the edge of like, you ever seen Sling Blade? You ever seen Sling Blade?
Ain't got no gas in it.
Right. So that level of IQ, they're right on the edge of that. So they're not great people. But when they interview people, they're great at interviewing. They're great at asking those questions. And since they're interviewing somebody, if it's like a scientist or somebody in politics who is significantly more educated in those areas than they are, guess what? Since they're leading the conversation, in the viewer's mind, they're immediately leading that conversation above somebody.
What's that name of that jackass? What the hell's the name of that jackass that has a show that literally encapsulates that perfectly? Literally, Stewart. Is there a guy named Stewart?
Jon Stewart?
Yeah, Jon Stewart. That's him.
Oh yeah,
Jon Stewart.
He's a stand-up comic. His stand-up is funny. I don't think he's intelligent by any stretch, but he interviews
I know people that treat him like he's the news.
Right? Yeah. And that's a problem. I think this stat is like 85% of people under 40 get 100% of their news from The Daily Show, which if you fall into that range, you should reevaluate where you view your content. But I won't go there. But yeah, people view him as the news. And in fact, I've met some news.
Yeah, John.
So, by the way, I've met news people. I've met actual news anchors in a few different things I've done. Again, generally not smart people. They're reading from a teleprompter. This will strike home. I'm Ron Burgundy. That's where most of them fall.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
They'll read
and my
anything.
tiny little nipples went to France.
They will read anything that's put on the teleprompter.
Yeah.
They're not smart people.
You put it on teleprompter,
but they're viewed as highly intelligent because they're reading somebody else's content or they're interviewing somebody who is vastly smarter than themselves. That's a great
like
hack.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, don't get me started on Neil deGrasse Tyson. That son of a... Nothing nice to say.
So
there.
He's going to be here in Syracuse. He's going to be here in Syracuse, New York.
He is a popcorn scientist at
soon,
best.
and I'm actually thinking about going.
Bill Nye the Science Guy is more of a scientist than Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I absolutely detest that. But would you fly to London if we could do a show? Have you ever seen Brian Cox, who did the Christmas
Brian
special?
Cox, man. Dude, he's a genius.
Brian Cox.
Now, he is an actual genius.
Amazing.
Brian Cox is awesome.
There's no argument.
If you could get us an interview with Brian Cox, yes, I'm in London.
No. To do a show from the I've literally lost the name of the place, but where they do the Christmas, Christmas like a science thing every Christmas from this one room, and I don't have a computer that's not running.
I don't know what's happening.
The show here. So have you ever seen?
Cox? You got me excited.
So I mean, I'd love to meet Brian Cox.
I don't.
But
John, I don't want to hear John's comments about this. Yeah. I know he's planning to type something very inappropriate. So anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
So anyway, the Cox. Okay, all right. No, Brian Cox is a freaking genius.
He's a genius.
He is the one who did the science behind Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Special, and he did it at Christmas at the London Shenanigans. I can't remember the name of the college there. It's literally it's probably one of the most famous things in the world in certain circles.
The current wife says the Royal Institution Christmas Lectures.
Yes, that's it right there. Thank you, Kiki.
And that's why I married her, not because she's complimentary, but because she has good information.
Yes, the Royal Institute Christmas Lectures. That's it. So I mean, to me, in all the stuff I've ever done in my life, if I could do a Royal Institution Christmas lecture on fire safety or lithium-ion batteries or something along those lines,
lithium-ion batteries,
I mean, it was just
and electrolytic vapors,
electrolytic solvent vapor. It was just I mean, that would be to me that would be it. I've made it. What
if we get the Underdog Journey inducted into the Royal Institute?
I know that's what I'm saying. That's what I was going. Thank you, Kiki, man. She really came through on that.
She knows her stuff sometimes.
Have a drink, Kiki.
She really wishes she could right now, I'm sure. So anyway, we need to get more information.
She can drink.
If we can get Brian, look, I'll tell you this: if you can get Brian Cox to agree to come on the show, I'm there in a minute. That's all right. That's the only definite green light.
I will start working on Brian Cox.
So that's
I need to make sure that came out correctly because I was struggling with a frog in the throat there.
Yeah,
I need to start working on Brian Cox, who is a scientist.
Enunciation.
Yes, enunciation is very, very important.
Yeah, it's going to get dangerous the more you drink, David. But establish yourself as an authority. And you know what? One of the things that has made Brian Cox so well known and such an authority is the content that he produces. The content that is produced that has him leading the conversation, right? If you can do a speech, if you can write blogs, I know they're ever overdone. 99% of people don't read blogs. He's amazing, by the way. I highly recommend everything he's done.
Right. He's freaking awesome.
Over Neil deGrasse Tyson, dummy. All right, so
pardon me, what?
Over the Neil deGrasse Tyson, dummy. Neil deGrasse
Weirdo.
Tyson's a popcorn scientist at best. We're not going to that conversation, David. That's a rabbit hole you don't want to go down. All right, so
I have shoved you down that rabbit hole so many times because it is freaking entertaining to watch you lose your shit on it.
That man. All right, so
I like him. He's a good guy. I like him.
He's a monster. He's one of the he ranks right up there with Pavlov for me. Do your homework on who Pavlov actually was. That's Neil deGrasse Tyson in modern day. All right, so establish yourself as an authority and a subject matter expert in your field.
Ding ding ding.
And there's some study.
Was that a bell ringing?
I wish I could remember the name of this study, but there was a study a while ago that said if you can dedicate 100 hours to any field, you can be one in the top 99% of people in that field. The problem is most people don't. Most people do just enough in their day job to get by and then go home, drink a beer, watch a football game. But if you can actually dedicate 100 solid hours.
Yeah, if you can break free of 1984, you can actually do some stuff with your life.
You can actually, if you can dedicate yourself to just learning something and picking a niche and being just an expert in one field. So how often? So my current wife and I, we like to watch those random like History Channel shows about ancient aliens and like the pyramids and all that kind of crazy stuff, and like Oak Island and the Skinwalker ranches. And there's always some like expert in like deep sea alien anatomy from Venus or something weird like that. But they're the top. They're the top expert in this field. And we're looking at each other like, how do you become an expert in that random ass field? Guess what? Because they spent the time to just make up random shit to become the expert in that field. Become the expert in any field. In fact, I recommend, even if you want to spend your entire career flipping burgers at Burger King and being that guy who flipped burgers every day for 30 years and didn't get a retirement gift, guess what? Even if you want to be that guy, that's your end goal. Pick something random. Pick ancient astronaut theory, biology, in xenophobic studies of the planet Krypton. Become an expert in that field. So that way you can always say, I am the top expert in this thing. I am the number one subject matter expert in this one thing that nobody else knows about because it's so random.
Five white papers is all you need. Actually, 3 will do it, but 5 will really. Wait a minute. William Shatner is coming to West Virginia next month.
I know.
That's the one to see. I might go see Will Shatner.
We've talked about this. We really wish we could
Bill
go,
and
but we're going to be
Bill and I go way back.
Thing. We're actually going to be in West Virginia, but we're going to be at a family thing, so we won't be able to go. But we really want to go.
Or you could ditch your kids with the grandparents, and we all go. Although I would love to see. So I would love to see it. That would be mortal torture to my wife to see William Shatner.
She doesn't like William Shatner? She doesn't like the Shat?
So that whole opposites attract things, like I'm ugly, she's hot as hell. We attract, and we literally prove that point. She's like, oh, I love this and this and this. And I'm like, fuck, don't make me do that, please. But then again, I'm like, hey, do you want to go to the cigar lounge, have a bourbon with me, or go meet these other people that you've never talked to?
I would rather
before?
scratch my eyes.
She's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Yes, no, I'm out.
So Kirsten and I are like that about some things, but there are certain things like William Shatner. We're like, yeah, we got to go see this guy. Because here's the thing. Look, he's like 1,000,000 years old. If you've seen him on the History Channel
he's
lately,
getting up there.
He doesn't have many years ahead of him. This might be the last opportunity to see the man, period.
Yeah, to see the Shat, man.
Right.
You got to go. You got to see the Shat.
Right. Kirsten, look, I know. So this is a message for my current wife. I know we've talked about this. We got to find a way to go see this guy.
Make it happen.
Where there's
make it happen.
We got to make this happen. So where there's a Shat, there's a way.
Yeah, where there's a Shat, there's a way. You're going to be at Ogilvy, stash the kids with the grandparents, and you freaking go.
It's funny you immediately knew we'd be at Ogilvy because that's where we always go.
I knew you'd be at Ogilvy.
You just knew.
Literally knew it could be at Ogilvy.
So yes, we will be at Ogilvy. But so establish yourself as an authority, especially in the field that you really want to excel at. And look, even if you know for a fact there's 100 other guys who are 100 guys or gals, whatever, way more qualified, way more knowledgeable than you, if you start producing content that gets more views than them, you are rising to the top immediately. I mean, I could
So
give example
I
after
will go a
example.
step further.
Producing
I'm
content
gonna go a step
online
further.
yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna go just a step further, West, because the vast majority of experts out there don't release any content.
Exactly. You release content that other people are viewing, you're going to have these other actual experts boiling in their
Yeah.
seats. They're going to hate you.
Yes.
But you know what? You're getting the
Yes.
views, and you're
They're
the
going to
expert.
wish for all of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it.
And you are gonna have, when you can literally take their, remember what I said, 5 white papers? I didn't say they had to be yours.
Mhm.
I didn't say they had to be yours. You could actually take 5 white papers from someone else and break them down into content. You don't have to do anything.
Right.
And
Now look,
you will become the expert
right
above the 5 people who made those freaking
and
white
now,
papers.
we're not condoning plagiarism. What we are condoning,
Not
though,
plagiarism. You're going to give credit to everybody.
Is making the content. And you know what? 99% of those people, if you don't cite them, they probably will hate you. But here's how you do it, and you make friends. You make the content, and at the same time, in the content, you cite all of these amazing people who you know are more knowledgeable than you, have better contacts in the industry than you. But you say, you know what? This guy said this, and this guy said this, and this person over here did this thing, and you're reporting what they've all done.
Let's see if we can get XYZ on the show in a couple weeks.
And you're reporting on the amazing things they've done, the amazing things they've said, and at the same time, people are viewing you, so you're the subject matter expert, but you're only the expert because you're citing all of these other amazing people. So remember, you cite other people, quote them if you need to. Just say, this person said this person did this. Make sure you mention their names so you can make friends at the same time. You're outdoing them on every level. Yeah. I'm telling you, that's the hack. That is
what's crazy.
And I don't use the word hack very often because most people use it inappropriately and incorrectly.
It's ridiculous.
This is
wildly inappropriately. Hack. Yeah. So you can actually drag them along with you.
Mm-hmm.
You can increase their exposure while still maintaining your position as the expert.
Right. And that goes into the idea that rising tide lifts all ships too, by the way.
Exactly. I was looking, I was in my head, I'm sitting here going, there's a phrase for this. There's a phrase for this. There's a phrase for this today. And I'm like, it's something about some ships, man. Something about some ships.
Something about a boat. I don't know. There's a tsunami. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some boats and they do some things and
so those were the 6 top tips for building trust and boosting sales. If you do these things, it doesn't matter what field or industry you're in, you will excel and you will make sales. Guaranteed.
Yeah. And if you struggle, which we offer this at I don't want to say at the end of every show, but often, if you have struggles or something like that, you can reach out to West and I. We help people.
This is what we do.
Free of charge.
We're actually doing this for fun right now. This is what we do.
Yeah. We don't try to monetize our channel. We don't try to do any of this. We literally, our whole thing is the both of us have our things. We're going to do them. We want to have, the rising tide lifting all ships. I mean, we want to take you with us. And
come along on this ride.
Yeah. Come along on this journey. I feel like we should be playing some hippie music or something, but come along on the journey and, the underdog journey as it is. But, he's got a freaking pipe.
It's almost like this show has a name for a reason. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what the freaking, man. But yeah, just we're here. You can ping either one of us. We will set a schedule. We will get on a call with you. We'll learn more about your business, what you need, and then we can provide coaching for you, kind of as a consultant.
That's it.
That you don't have to pay. We actually enjoy this stuff. We have a blast.
Yeah, we started doing this because we were literally closing out bars, standing in the snow, literally standing in the snow outside of bars after they closed, just talking about this stuff in the parking lot. This is what we do for fun.
Yeah, we do this for fun. So if you bring us and you say, "Hey, I've got a guy right now who's down in Texas right now trying to start a cigar lounge,"
Yeah.
and right now, but he doesn't have a facility yet, but he started selling, basically kind of like an online
Mhm.
type thing. So he's moving product, but he doesn't have a facility yet.
Mhm.
So the next time I get a chance, I think he's in the Dallas market. The next time I get a chance to go to Dallas, I'm gonna meet with him.
Mhm.
We're going to go through his whole entire thing. We're going to go scope out some places
Yeah.
in
Nice.
the evenings because I got work during the day, but in the evening stuff, and he's got work during the day. So we're going to go in the evening stuff and we're going to go around. I'm going to literally fly. And I mean, I won't make a special trip, but if I can tie it in with business, I'm going to do so.
If business happens to
And
take you there, sure.
yeah, business happens to take me there, which business weirdly takes me to freaking Texas a lot. But it's a big deal.
There's a
what we do
lot of
now
open
in
space that
this thing.
need batteries.
There's a lot of open space in
I get it.
Texas. There's a lot of open space in Texas right now. So yeah. So if you reach out to one of us, if you're like, "Hey, I need to create and you reach out to me, I'm like, and you say, "Hey, I need to create a marketing campaign." What I'm going to do is immediately get Wes involved because that's his area of expertise.
Well, your
I'm gonna
sales on
bring him
marketing,
in.
it works well.
Yeah, and then I'm going to follow up with the marketing on it, and it's going to be a whole thing. We will give you, in most cases, a lot more honest and truthful expectations than the people you pay,
Yeah,
because
it's true.
well, we're not in it for the money.
Right.
We're in it. Our win, our pay is seeing you succeed.
That's it. That's it.
So reach out to us. So Wes has said this many times. I mean, I can't even count how many times.
I say a lot of things.
Everybody
I don't
out
know.
there, everybody out there is walking around with that $1 million idea.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Everybody out there is walking around with that idea that's just going to change the world.
Mm-hmm.
And every single one of us, maybe not every single one of us, but a lot of us, this guy included, and that guy included. Make sure you have a finger the right way. We have seen things that we thought of years ago that somebody else took the initiative on, and
they executed.
And now we're left with that bitter taste in our mouth of like, that should have been us.
Oh, everybody knows that one guy who's like, "Man, I invented Facebook," for somebody else did it, for that darn Mark Zuckerberg did it, Zark Muckerberg, and like, then why didn't you do it? Then why didn't you do it?
Can't be scared.
Probably a lot of reasons, but guess what?
Yeah.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. One guy did it. You didn't.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And when you take those steps that we just laid out tonight, those 6 steps that we laid out tonight, and you put those in a box and you fill those in, now it makes you a lot more comfortable to take those steps.
That's it. It
makes you the go-to. It makes you the subject matter expert and kind of the top of the field. And it's going to make you feel a little more comfortable to launch and push. And because sometimes you have to let go of dry land or you're never going to reach the new world.
So there was a phrase that I used a long time ago with a friend, and I didn't realize how profound it was until I thought about it later when they told me like they saved it as a quote, and I was like, "You saved something I said as a quote?" And I'm like, "That kind of is kind of good." Not to toot my own horn or anything, but
you're gone.
But I forget what we were talking about. We were driving down the road, and I mentioned, going with the flow is great, because they mentioned that they don't want to cause waves. They like to go with flow. I'm like, going with flow is great. But eventually, you got to swim for yourself. You're going to drown. And that's what it's all about. Look, you can go your entire life just going with the flow and doing what you're told and just playing it safe. But eventually, if you want to do something great, if you want to reach that other side of the river, you got to swim, man. You got to put in the effort, and you got to go. Oh, Matt Welch says, toot, toot. Hey, so Matt Welch. Matt Welch, sorry, I've had a few beers. We need to have a interview with this guy. He's amazing. So he has a restaurant in West Virginia, and he's been on. He's
empty, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You keep saying Matt. I'm like,
so this guy is Wheeling famous. So if you know Wheeling, you know Wheeling famous. This guy is basically like the everybody knows this guy. His restaurant's awesome. He's been on the Food Network or one of the cooking channels. He's done some of those cooking competitions on TV. He's been all over the news. This guy is really involved over there, and he's doing some amazing things. So we got to talk to this guy and get him on our show because
I'm for it. I'm for it. We could meet down there and do a show from his restaurant.
We should do that. Let's actually plan that sometime. David, when you're fit to travel, let's make it happen and go down, share a cigar, and talk beer and amazing food. Because this guy,
it looks like does he have a cigar in his?
He does have a cigar.
He has a cigar in his mouth and his thing here. Oh, hey, Mr. Matt Wells, what's your favorite cigar? What's your favorite all-time cigar?
It's a good question.
That's a great question. What about you, Wes? What's your favorite cigar?
Ooh, the Padron Anniversary. The Padron Anniversary.
The 1965?
Yeah. Oh man. They've gone up in price. Man, they're expensive now. They didn't used to be. But that's one of my favorites. I love it. The box press is perfect. You get it when I mean, just the wrapper is nice and just kind of oily, just the perfect amount of oil. I mean, they're a sweet cigar, man. I know you're probably you like the blackened.
Well, I like the blackened, but my number one cigar, if I can, and I don't live too far from Canada, so I can get them, is the Monte Cristo number 2.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
Is hands down my favorite cigar. And for reason. I mean, there's a reason that cigar has stood the test of time because of how great it is. Mm-hmm. So I'm not allowed to smoke until Monday. I'm not supposed to drink either, but here we are.
So you and I need to plan a trip to Rocky Patel's Burn and have some meetings over there.
So over in Pittsburgh, and that's not terribly far from Oglebay. I mean, that's maybe an hour and a half or so. So I'm all for that.
So yeah, we need to make that happen.
I'm all for that. I love Rocky Patel's Burn. So a person who's a professional in wine is a sommelier. And sommelier. I just had a really good Rocky Patel anniversary a week or so. So Rocky Patel has a couple of anniversary series cigars that are phenomenal.
Yeah, that's a great one.
That are absolutely phenomenal.
That's a great one.
There's only one Rocky Patel cigar that I've ever had that I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm not going to go back. And that was the number 6.
Okay.
The Rocky Patel number 6. Why the balloons?
I don't know where that came from.
What happened? What did I do? What did I do, Skype, that made you think that I want a balloon?
Skype is like, balloons. It's time for balloons. You're getting a little boring over there, David. It's time to have a party.
I guess. I don't know what the hell's going on. Anyway, back in the day.
Yeah.
But the Rocky Patel number 6 is the only one that was a little too much for me. And even though I'm not able to smoke, I was actually able to start rolling some cigars, and I started practicing more.
Did you roll those that we got the tobacco ready?
I've rolled 2 more. Of my cigars. So I now believe instead of buying the kits, I'm going to buy them by the pound or half pound or whatever, so that I can get a huge group of guys involved in doing a cigar rolling night.
We need to do that. We need to do this for a live show. By the way, Matt
I think it'd be great.
Yins guys. Matt, you're not a Yinzer, are you? You're not a Yinzer, are you? Yins. So it's basically like it's basically like the Pennsylvania version of y'all. Yins.
So I mean, dude, I have to speak fluent Bostonian, New York City. I got to speak fluent Brooklyn. I got to speak fluent. Who else has some weird speaking?
You go to Texas a lot. You go to Texas a lot.
I go to Texas, but their language is not so crazy.
You still got
that's fluent
maybe
for
Southern
me.
Ohio. Maybe Southern Ohio.
So I was born in West Virginia, so I can slip into that accent. It feels like home, and it's not a safe place. All right, it's not a safe place for me to be. When I hear earlier today, I was in here talking. I wasn't meaning to, and they're like, "Oh, all of a sudden you're Irish?" Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, "Oh, you're so fucking Irish," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I guess I did do that."
He says technically in Wheaton it's Ewans.
Yins is so yeah.
I don't know the
Okay, so you're
Ewans, but
southern.
yeah,
So
it's the
so
same
that's
thing.
that's a more southern higher thing for me is that Ewans is so Ewans and then Ewans is depending on what tense you're talking
There
about.
you go. That's funny. But yeah, no, we gotta head down to his restaurant and do a show from there, man. It's a cool place.
So what kind of food does Yin's have?
So Matt, you described the place. It's the Vagabond Kitchen in Wheeling, and
The
like
Vagabond
it's
Kitchen.
almost like it's almost like gourmet style, like home food, like comfort home food, but like it's like gourmet. Like it's really like the presentation's
Like
like
a
it's
gastropub.
it's like pretty. It's like actual pretty, but it'll be like mac and cheese or something. He says
Okay, a gastropub. Okay.
elevated Appalachian comfort food. That's perfect. That explains it.
Okay. All right.
It's really
So
good too, man.
so we call them gastropubs, and I say we,
That
not the
sounds a
New
little
York side.
that sounds a little hoity-toity.
Well, yeah. So
Gastro.
right up the road from you,
Yeah.
right, literally right up the road from you, not from me, is there's a couple spots in Powell that have gastropubs, and they do that. It is the comfort food at a higher degree.
Right. I get
It
it.
is the mac and cheese, but not, we're not making your Kraft mac and cheese. We're not making your great grandma's baked mac and cheese. We're making something that has a little more oomph and a little more oomph to it, if you know what I mean. The
But
ladies know.
it's funny we were talking about, building yourself as a like a thought leader and a subject matter expert in a certain field. Like Matt
Yeah.
has done that in his area. Like he is the
That is
go-to.
awesome.
People picture him and his level of expertise on like a whole different level. He's actually built himself up in a really, really interesting, cool way. So yeah, we gotta talk to him soon. Matt, we're gonna make this happen.
That's awesome.
We'll set up a call soon, and we'll set up a meeting to do one of these shows from your restaurant. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. Does he have bourbon?
Matt, do you have bourbon at your place? I don't know. He's got a pretty good beer
Yeah,
selection.
bourbon. Yeah, bourbon or beer. I don't know. Either which one. But yeah, I have Hofbrauhaus ruined me, dude.
It's yeah.
I'm so picky with beer. So yesterday I
Hofbrauhaus, their
had
beer is so good it ruined you for beer. I get it. Their
Shit.
Hefeweizen is like second to none.
Yeah. Oh my God. There have so I don't drink beer unless
He says,
it's
"I have so
a
much
certain
bourbon."
quality of beer.
Yeah,
Oh, I love every word in that sentence.
exactly.
Hello, Mr. Welsh. How are you doing this evening?
Exactly. So what were you saying about
Yeah.
Hofbrauhaus ruining for bourbon?
Yeah, so Hofbrauhaus
Or beer.
is the Hof is so good. I do not drink beer like anywhere. I
Yeah.
don't drink beer because beer has to be at a certain level. And back in the day, I used to call Wes and say, "Hey Wes, I would take a picture
Yeah, I remember
and
those
send him
days.
a picture of the beer list and say,
Say, what would I like?
what's the closest to Bud Light?"
Yeah.
That's literally what I would send to him. Like, what can I drink of this?
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into Hofbrau, and then it just spurred out of
Well,
control.
I remember the first time you were going to have a Hefeweizen at the Crafty Pint, and you asked for like, what does it taste like? And I was like, a little banana, a little clove. You're like, I don't want to drink a banana flavored beer. Are you insane?
Yeah,
What do you have that tastes like
to the
Budweiser?
calendars as well at Hofbrau.
Yeah.
I said to the calendars at Hofbrau, I'm like, I don't want a freaking banana beer. And they're like, no, you don't get it. You don't get it. You got to drink it. You got to drink and try it. And then it was months.
Yeah.
It was months. The calendars, John Calendar, who is a frequent inappropriate commenter on our show, posted, he talked me finally into getting, I was like, all right, I'll have a Hofbrau. I'll have a Hefeweizen. And I drank the Hefeweizen and I'm like, oh my God.
Right. And
it was so delicious.
From that point until the point when you're like sitting down with the head brewer from Brewdog.
Yeah.
And we're having a conversation and you're like on par as far as knowledgeability with the head brewer from this massive brewery. Like, that's pretty amazing. Like, that's a big step up, man.
So it's a symptom of ADD where you find something, you focus in on it, and you niche down, and you go completely balls to the wall on a thing.
Right. I would call that. I would say that
yeah.
makes you a subject matter expert if you're like on that level. I mean, we're sitting down with James Watt the CEO of the company and the
Which
and
we asked him like 3 times what he did.
Look,
The CEO, poor CEO over there.
I had a lot of beer that night, and he knew that. Hopefully, he knew that I did. But we're sitting down with James
we
Watt,
all had a
the
great time.
CEO, and the head brewer from BrewDog USA,
And that Chinese prostitute,
and some random person who probably was a lady of the evening, and and they're literally he's literally pulling out random things that like they aren't available for sale to the public, and like I mean. That was a cool night. And you're like having this like in-depth conversation about the beer and the flavor profiles, and like that's a big step up from like what tastes like Budweiser.
So I used to be like, hey, here, what's the closest to Bud Light? And now here I am. I've got this little cup of beer, and I've got it
like a goblet
in my nose. I'm like in my nose, and I'm like, and I'm snorting it. I'm basically snorting beer at this point. And but it's I'm bringing in all the flavors before I ever taste it. I'm looking at the color, the clarity, where does it fall, what kind of filtering it goes through, what kind of cloudiness it has, how does it present in the glass, and then a small sip. I move it around the mouth. I mean, it was all these things from where I came from to where I was, and here I am going toe to toe with head fucking brewer.
Right, exactly.
And I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. And we're sitting there just banging back and forth, like yeah, and this is good. I mean, we had that was a great night. That was a great night. When's the next one of those?
We got to do another one of those. So that was the AGM for BrewDog, the annual General Mayhem for BrewDog in 2020. Mayhem. So normally that event has about 10,000 people. That event, since it was in 2020 during all the lockdowns, they limited it to 60 people. And so when I learned that these tickets were going on sale, I mean, I was waiting online, and immediately, as soon as they went on sale, I clicked it and I bought it. And
we had dead center tickets.
I didn't know what seat I got. I'm like, I got 2 tickets. We're in the door. It turned out we were out of 60 people. Normally 10,000 people attend this thing. This was 60. We got dead center front row of this event, right in front of the podium where James Watt and the CEO and all kinds of people were speaking throughout this thing, talking about the beer, talking about the direction of the company. Dude, that was an amazing night, man. That was fun.
It was a great night. A great night. We drank so much.
There was a lot of free beer, so that was part of the problem too. Is like
so much free
by
beer.
the time we're speaking to James and the CEO, like we're easily at least 8 or 10 beers in.
Yeah, we were. We were pretty deep by the time.
They keep giving you samples, and I say sample, I mean like a full can or bottle size sample.
They're like, here's a sample. So here's the crazy thing is like when I go to a place and they're like, hey, you want to try a sample of this? I'm like, yeah, I'll do 20 ounces. And they're like, wait, what? I'm like, I'm willing to give any beer a drink. Okay. So charge me for it. I'm not asking you to give it to me for free. Charge me for it. But I'm going to give the beer an entire drink.
You're also the person who goes to Hofbrau, and a liter is a single serving for you.
That's a single beer.
Right, yes, exactly, a liter.
A single beer.
I'll have a liter of cola. So
when I talk to doctors and whatnot, and they're like, "Well, how much beer do you drink?" Well, it depends where I'm at.
Exactly.
And I go, well, I mean, if I'm at Hofbrau, I get my beer by the liter.
Right.
And just when I say the word liter, they're like,
right. I mean, just on sheer volume, that's a lot of
drink. I don't know.
Sheer
4?
volume, that's a lot of liquid by the end of the evening. If you have a few of those.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You get 4 liters of anything in you, you're pissing a lot. I mean, it's really how it works.
Exactly.
It really is. And so actually this could actually kind of tie into our conversation and the purpose of our show tonight.
It's a weird way to get there, but okay. Let's hear it.
It's a weird as hell way to get there, but becoming a subject matter expert. So if I tell somebody in certain circles that know me and know my history, if I tell them, you're going to like this beer, you're going to be testing with this beer, I want you to try this beer, but if it doesn't work for you, I want you to go to that beer. I've got people that will follow it step by step by step for me. Because I have established myself as a subject matter expert in beer.
Exactly. You're right though. You're right, though.
Yes, it is, and now it is. I have people who listen to me about bourbon far more than they
you're
should
right.
ever
No, you're
listen to
right.
me about
You've
bourbon.
gotten there with bourbon. You are there.
And people go, well, what do you think about this? I'm like, ooh, all I can tell you is what I like. Your flavor profile, your palate is going to be completely different than mine.
That's
But
it.
if you don't like this, then you're probably going to like that. And if you don't like either one of these, go try some wine.
Maybe wine is your thing.
Maybe bourbon's not your thing. And it's fine.
So Matt Welch got the reference to Super Troopers. Say car ramrod.
Oh yeah, with the rinky car ramrod.
Exactly.
Ramrod on duty.
Meow.
Yes,
How
this
fast
is
do you think you were going there?
Yeah, 7.
Meow.
That's a tie in a Tommy. That's a Tommy Boy. Not Tommy Boy. That was Black Sheep. Black Sheep. When they had the police cruiser. How fast do you think you were going? I don't know. 55. 7. You were going 7 miles per hour.
Oh yeah. That's a good one.
That was a great. Those are 2 great shows.
Chris Farley was a treasure. All right.
Yeah. Yes. One day you will choke that chicken.
We're not going there. All right.
That was
anyway.
Beverly Hills Ninja, by the way.
Allegedly. All right. Let's
allegedly. That's an ostrich.
But yeah. So we were I don't know where we're going with that, but it was a fun show. Those were the top 6 tips for building trust fast and boosting sales. And honestly, just communication and subject matter expert. We could have broken that down into 2. Are the most important things I take away from that. But don't be salesy. Can confirm, he says. That's awesome. All right. I don't know where I was going with don't be salesy, but I'm a few beers in myself. Let's go ahead and wrap this up before it gets too weird.
Not being salesy. Yeah, not being salesy. Okay, so okay, not to end this.
David's still going. David's still going. Here we go.
I'm not done yet.
He's not done yet.
Yeah. I've been down and out for like a month. Okay.
You are
so this is like
go.
Literally my first day back. So that cannot be overstated, is not to be salesy. Focusing on the solution is going to be far better than any salesy proposition. The way that I look at it is, if you've got to put the cigar in your mouth and slick your hair back like Pete the Cat from Disney trying to sell Christmas trees,
right?
This is not the business for you.
Well, you know what?
You're gonna get mowed over by actual sales.
It comes down to the fact that nobody trusts a car salesman. Nobody wants to be sold to. Nobody wants to go in someplace knowing the dude's trying to sell them something they probably don't want.
Yep. Yes.
And that's really what it comes down to. I'm overly aware of salespeople because I know these tricks and tactics and techniques. Yeah. And I'm like, can I just have somebody who just wants to talk to me and is okay with me walking away? That's all I want.
Yeah. 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 And if you're out there buying a car, we're going to go with cars real quick, but if you're out there buying a car, you have to be okay to walk away. You don't eat next month because you bought a car. They do eat next month because you bought a car. Remember that. Never forget it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right, go ahead.
So Matt, I'm reading some comments here. So first, Matt said,
I'm trying to catch up here.
Sales these days are relationship based, don't you think? Absolutely. And that's what it comes down to, is building the relationship, building that rapport with your clients and customers.
Yeah.
And building that trust. And that's really what the main topic of the show was, is building that trust, because nobody wants to be sold to. I personally hate being sold to. He says, people who are looking for a guy who can help them get what they want. And that's it. So people mostly, I think, want the information. And if you can give them the information they need, you can build that rapport, build that trust to the point to where they don't think you're trying to sell to them, but they're buying from you because they know that you're giving them the right information at the right time.
There are two sales positions that don't necessarily fall under our left and right axis coming, or X and Y, Z's here, our Z scale. And that is, on one side is the car salesman and the other side is real estate agents.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so those are the two that don't necessarily follow in this bracket. Uh, they are very specific. They are very special. And if you wanted to learn more about those, we could talk more about car sales and how you can bring that around.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would probably have to dedicate maybe 2, possibly 3 shows to breaking down the nuances of real estate and as an estate agent, because it is a different tactic.
Well, right. And so when it comes down to
Completely.
the tactics and techniques are going to be unique to your niche. That's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if you're selling cars, yeah, there are better ways to sell cars than to be a car salesman, to be salesy.
Yeah.
If you're selling, computers or computer systems, integrated computer systems, you're going to have different tactics and techniques from, a guy who sells, French fries wholesale, as Matt Harmon does, or did. Sorry, there are
but I gotta tell you, I'm still pissed that he hasn't started his French fry channel.
He told us, he promised he was. We actually started a YouTube channel for this guy called Fry Me to the Moon, which I still think is one of the best names ever.
I think it's half-ass.
But
okay.
No, Fry Me. Because you're not a Sinatra guy. You're not a Sinatra guy.
Excuse me. I live in freaking New York. I go through Hoboken all the time.
Right.
Don't tell me I'm not a.
You go to some random, Italian Shlomo. I know that doesn't line up at all. But you go to any Italian random guy, and he's gonna love Fry Me to the Moon. Fry Me to the Moon is one of the best names ever for a YouTube channel.
I drink the old Blue Eyes. I drink literally called the old Blue Eyes martini at the local steakhouses here. They have some chains,
right?
Some
and
small
if you
chains.
went
Old
one
Blue
of those,
Eyes.
if you went into a real hardcore Italian restaurant and you said, I have a French fry channel called Fry Me to the Moon, they're gonna love it. Fry Me to the Moon, the best.
Fry Me to the Moon. But he's got okay. So I could get past it. I think there's a better name for it. But I could get past it.
What would you call
if he actually did something
with
it?
Let's hear your better thing.
Mr. Potato Man.
No. Awful. Terrible.
Mr. Potato Man?
No.
Okay, you're playing off Mr. Potato Head, which has already a market there. They can't sue you because it's not Mr. Potato Head. So you're Mr. Potato Man. You're Mr. Potato Man. It's done.
Here's a better question for you, David. Matt Welch says, what do you think about the use of NPL in sales? Psychological manipulation, really?
NLP. Okay, I'm gonna need a breakdown on what NLP
I don't know NLP. That's why I was hoping you would know, so I don't sound stupid. See, look, Matt, even he says, "Fry Me to the Moon" is effing gold. He's 100% right. Fry me to the moon.
Matt, what about Mr. Potato Man?
Among the stars.
Mr. Potato Man.
Okay, all right. We need a poll. What's better? Fry Me to the Moon or Mr. Potato Man?
Mr. Potato Man. And I just thought of that drunkenly right now.
That's
Potato
it.
Man.
No. All right.
That's all you need.
We need a poll. Everybody watching and listening, whether you're watching this on replay or not, leave in the comments. What do you think is better? Fry Me to the Moon or Mr. Potato Man? Oh, neuro-linguistic programming. Oh my. So it's funny. We've talked about psychographics.
I like this guy even more.
Dude, I'm telling you,
he's
Matt's
a cook.
Cool dude, man.
He makes good food. And he's intelligent. I'm liking this guy.
He says,
I'm liking this guy.
Well, you like him after this. He says, Mr. Potato Man only sounds good when you're 8 beers in.
You know what? I'm like 7 bourbons in, so I'll give you that one.
It's close.
It's a little close. So okay. So all right, we go with
neuro-linguistic programming.
I'm going to go with this guy. So when this guy comes out with neuro-linguistic programming, I'm going to have to take his advice. All right. So he's established himself as a very intelligent subject matter expert. So I'm going to have to go with his advice.
We've talked a lot about dealing with psychographics in your core demographic. Not just dealing with demographics, but the psychographics as well. We've talked about building the actual rapport with your core audience and customers. We've talked about building customer avatars where you're learning about how to speak with them in addition to who they are, because you're not going to speak with a 20-year-old frat boy the same way you're going to speak with your grandmother. So you're going to use different words, different phraseology.
One of these days, West is going to use a different example, and I'm just going to get up and walk off.
but it's true though. I use that example a lot because it's true.
Yeah, it's very important.
You don't see Logan Paul selling Prime to 90-year-old grandmas. He's selling it to frat boys and 12-year-old kids like my, who want to drink an overpriced poisonous water.
Yeah,
it's you know what I mean.
I've got cred, bitches. I've got cred.
Oh man, South Park did that genius.
South Park was great with that. I love it.
That was so good.
I mean, it's such a great show. So anyway, okay, so neuro-linguistic programming.
I need to do some more homework before I can speak too adequately on that. I'm guessing it's dealing with the psychographics and dealing with how to actually speak with your core demographic, which we've talked about a lot about. Yeah. I think we've used different phraseology and terminology on that. I was trying not to have you say phraseology. I just say phraseology a lot to rub it in because it is a real word.
I know.
That's the only reason I use that so often.
I just in case you guys don't get the reference. I had a bet with Wes that phraseology wasn't an actual word. It's like, that's bullshit. There's no way that's a word. And I was wrong. Now Wes likes to really let me know that I was wrong.
I use it every opportunity I can now.
Every opportunity. And what's funny is I will actually use that in business now. To mess with people. And they look at me like,
the symbology. What's the symbology there?
What's the symbol? I'm sure now that Duffy's relinquished his title as Chief Bonehead, the word you're looking for is symbolism. Symbolism. That's a great movie. That should be mandatory watching too.
That should be mandatory watching for everybody. It's a shame the second one wasn't so good.
Oh, the second one was iffy. The third one got killed. But the second one was iffy. But Boondock Saints was just amazing.
It's one of the all-time classics.
It really
I met Sean Patrick Flannery, and I don't have nice things to say. I've met both Sean Patrick Flannery and Norman Reedus. I would have thought it would be the other way around, but I'm not a big fan of Sean Patrick Flannery now. I used to be.
Really?
Yeah. He's not a nice guy.
I'll tell you what, I could probably smoke cigars, drink bourbon with both of them.
No, be fine. Actually, Norman Reedus is like a super cool dude. Like at shows and stuff, he's like just hanging out and talking to people, and like little kids run up to him, and he's like getting down on the ground and posing for photos. And like Sean Patrick Flannery is like, "Yeah, what do you want?" You're like, "Apparently nothing. Yeah. I'm gonna go over here now."
So there used to be a band called Jefferson Starship. They're the ones who sang the song "We Built the City on Rock and Roll," and I remember watching them on stage. And I watched them. They were the headliners, and the Righteous Brothers, who sang "Unchained Melodies" and "I've Had the Time of My Life," were the show beforehand. And while they were on stage, there's this guy who's drunk out there, fucking air guitar in it, and he's literally feet from me, and he's having a great time. And everybody's like kind of laughing at him, like, ha ha ha, he's hammered. But guy wasn't hammered, because Jefferson Starship came on stage and everybody came up, and then he walked through the crowd and then went up on stage, and he was the lead singer.
Ah, that's awesome.
And at that point, cool. I realized and I'm like 8, maybe at this time, maybe 8 years old at this time. And I realized that these people that everybody think is just like, they're just the same as the rest of us.
They're just people.
They're just people, man. Yeah. Don't be a dick to them. You know, they typically won't be a dick to you.
That's it.
Everybody has a bad day. Everybody has an off day here and there. It happens.
Look, I used to do all of the motion graphics and TV commercials, and travel around a lot for a certain company who did shows all around the country. I've met a lot of celebrities. I've met a lot of my personal heroes that were celebrities. And when they say don't meet your heroes, in most cases, I have to agree. There have been a couple that I'm like, that dude who I thought was not going to be super cool was actually one of the coolest people I've ever met. And other people were like, I want to love this person. You walk away like, I kind of hate that person now. So it's a whole thing. But you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know,
I
how we
see.
got into that rant, but yeah, it's totally true.
Yeah, it is. But Matt over here says, "What's the symbology there?"
I put that on the screen. That's when we started talking about the Boondocks.
Oh, so I didn't see it yet.
Yeah.
I just seen it. I'm like,
that's what brought that up.
Yeah,
what's the symbology there?
This guy's on it.
Symbolism. Yeah.
Symbolism. Now that I see Duffy has released his title of Chief Bonehead.
Exactly.
I'm sure the way you meant was symbolism.
All right. But we've been going for about 2.5 hours, Dave.
Great movie. Has it been that short?
About 2.5 hours.
Oh my God, it's 10:30. Holy bananas.
There was a firefight.
Firefight. Yes. Put your hands on firefight. Yes.
Who would have thought Willem Dafoe? Willem Dafoe. Because it's funny, he played Jesus like way back in the day, and apparently he was like a normal dude, and like now he's like, there are certain actors who like find a very unique niche, and that's who they are now. So like, so think about this. So like Willem Dafoe, he's the only niche that Willem Dafoe can fit is Willem Dafoe. Here's another one.
So I want to go into Willem Dafoe deeper.
Amazing in Platoon. That's an old one. Yeah. So Willem Dafoe.
So Green Goblin. Green Goblin to me can't be anybody other than Willem Dafoe.
I get it. Fair enough.
Agent Smallpecker. I'm sorry,
that's
Paul
another great
Smecker.
example. John Malkovich. Very unique.
John Malkovich. I mean,
niche. Who's that one that everybody does the impersonation of?
So but the idea, you go ahead and keep thinking. But
I try to think of it too fast.
For me, it's Willem Dafoe is just
that's on fire.
Ooh. All right, so there's too many movies there to get into. There's too many there. I mean, because there was a while. I mean, you couldn't.
He's a terrible actor. He's a terrible, but he's himself. You go in knowing it's Nicolas Cage movie because you can see Nicolas Cage.
He plays, even if he's not himself, his acting character is the same acting character in every movie. You want it Con Air. What was the movie? Yeah, it was kind of a Marvel type comic book. It was a comic book movie where he made a deal with Satan. Spawn. So he did Spawn. He did. I mean, there were so many other movies that he did that were just, but all of them, Gone in 60 Seconds, all of those characters were the same. All of those characters were the Nicolas Cage acting persona.
He says, but he's a great Nick Cage. Yeah, I
guess. But he's a great Nick Cage.
He's Nicolas
Cage. You know what? That is the perfect way to explain that. That is the perfect way to explain it.
I don't know how we got on that at all, but yeah. So Willem Dafoe. That's it. So they find a very unique niche, and like that's the only person who can fill that niche is that very specific actor.
Yeah.
So Nicolas Cage fits the Nicolas Cage niche. You know, Willem Dafoe fits the Willem Dafoe niche.
Yeah. So if there's a movie out there, there are a few. The guy who played Snape, what's his name? Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
If I see a movie that has Alan Rickman in it, I will watch it.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah.
It may not be a movie in the genre that I like.
He was legitimately a good actor. He was legitimately a good actor.
Die Hard to freaking Snape in Harry Potter.
Right.
I mean, and Bottle Shock. Bottle Shock came out of nowhere, and I only watched Bottle Shock because he was in it.
Could Nicolas Cage have made that sort of transition from role to role?
No.
That's what I'm saying. I know.
No.
Because he fits a niche. He's not a great actor. It's like here's another good example. We just watched one of the SpongeBob movies, for Pete's sake, and one of the cameos was the Bill and Ted guy. He was John Wick. What's his face?
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. Thank you. I can't think of names tonight. Keanu Reeves. He's a terrible actor. A terrible actor.
What?
A terrible Keanu Reeves. I'm going to say this as clearly as possible because I don't want to be mistaken here. Keanu Reeves is a terrible actor.
Dude,
Keanu
he
Reeves
might come and shoot you tonight.
is a terrible.
You know that,
he
right?
might actually be John Wick. He's a terrible actor, but because he couldn't make the same transitions in roles as Alan Rickman, but he can do Bill Preston Esquire. Wait, no, he was Ted. He was Ted Theodore Logan.
You talking about you can't make the rain.
Tom Selleck, I think, is a good actor. Here's the difference. Tom Selleck plays Tom Selleck, but he doesn't.
But Tom Selleck. There's Tom Selleck, and then there's Tom Selleck's mustache.
Right.
And
Tom Selleck is the mustache.
You gotta introduce both of them.
When he shaved the mustache, it was all over. It's like Samson in his hair.
Yeah.
That was
I mean, to be honest, I gotta tell you, I think Matt should become a permanent member of our show.
He would do well on this. He would actually make us look bad. He's too good.
You make us look good.
He would make us look bad.
That's good. And Kiki, who pulled off, what was it earlier? I got to scroll way back.
So my current wife, she makes good comments occasionally. Oh, talking about Bill Shatner, and she calls him Bill, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's funny. My current wife
Holy
and Matt,
bollocks.
My current wife and Matt used to be roommates back in college. They used to be
the Royal Institution Christmas lectures.
Yeah, she knows her stuff.
I mean,
I think she looked it up, but she knows her stuff.
I'm drunk now, but I was drunk then too. But to be able to pull out the fact that that's what I was talking about at the time. I mean, that was gold. Wait, what?
It's better than Neil deGrasse Tyson. What?
So Matt and her were roommates?
Yeah, they used to be roommates back in college.
In a previous life?
Yeah.
Nice.
He says his current wife, not how you refer to someone who you want to be in a long-term relationship with your wife. So Matt, there's a story behind why I call her my current wife. So in our first episode, I forget,
it was our very first episode.
I forget what we were talking about, but I mentioned her as my current wife just because I was my first time really speaking on camera on a live stream, and I actually stopped after saying it, and I was like, I don't know why I just said that.
I don't know why I called her my current wife.
I've only ever had one wife, and I only plan to have one. And it just stuck. It's just what I call her now. So
it has stuck.
Yeah.
It has stuck. So my current wife I have adopted that same terminology for my current wife as well.
Yeah.
Who at some point will figure out that she can do a whole lot better than me, and she will be my current wife, and then she'll be my my ex-wife. This is how it goes.
She'll be your most recent current wife. So
yeah.
I've actually told your current wife that she can do better, and she doesn't.
Yeah, everybody has, even me.
Yeah, he says, I guess it's better than my next divorce. So
yes,
or introducing your wife as my future ex. Yeah, they don't like that. They prefer.
So I have occasionally introduced her as like, oh, this is my ex-girlfriend. And
yeah,
she's like, what? I'm like, well, we're married now. You are my ex-girlfriend. You're no longer my girlfriend. You're my wife.
It's not a good way to introduce her on your anniversary. It's
yeah, she gets a little cranky about that one.
Oh,
but
man.
I go with it.
Yeah, it's
It's
luckily
1040,
my current wife is a good sport about these things, Matt. So you know her better. You know her probably better than I do at this point. So thank goodness she's a good sport about these things. So but look, we've been going for 2 hours and 40 minutes. It is time to cut it off. So Matt, thanks for joining us. Everybody in comments, thanks for joining us. David, glad you're feeling a little better. You look like you're feeling a lot better than you were last week. Last week you looked like you were about to die. This week you look.
Yeah. So.
Oh, my video just froze.
Funny is, I talked to my mom this week.
Yeah.
And she's like, you look so bad. Okay, so I haven't told her anything about
David,
what's going on.
I think our audio is completely frozen. I think my whole computer just froze up. I'm not
All
seeing.
right.
I
We
can't,
love you all. We'll see you next week. Have a good time.
if you can still hear me, I apologize. I'm not sure what's happening. I think I can end this stream right now. I'm not sure.